Welcome, everyone, to the Islanders Never Say Die podcast. I'm your host, TJ, and with me again, as always, is our NHL analyst and expert, the grumpy old man. They say there is no shame in his game because he is always the same.
That's me.
Grumpy, how
Yeah.
are you? You look very well lit today. What's going on?
I don't like it. I'm blind over here. I got some big, bold white
The
light
TV, it's
flashing me right in the face. I feel like I'm blind in my left eye. I'm seeing spots. I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Oh, Grumpy, I didn't know if it was a TV, but yeah, you look at
No,
this.
it's not the TV. It's something that you insist that I use. And thank you,
Dave Correa, Grumpy
David
old man.
Correa. Thank you so much for sending it. But
Look at
as
this,
we
Grumpy. We
know,
can see you. Look at this. It's even better. I like the light it's shining on your face, Grumpy. Oh, look at that.
actually, I think my character plays better when I'm a little bit in the shadows and in the dark.
Now all we got to do is get your new microphone up and running too, Grumpy old man. Look at us bringing production value up. Thank you, Dave C. Turn that TV off. Jesus Christ.
I don't know. I thought maybe this stupid light would help so I could actually have the TV on and actually do two things at once because dealing with you is just such a minor thing.
Oh, that's what it is.
I can multitask. What can I tell you?
Grumpy, how have you been though?
Fine, thank you.
Oh man, I'll tell you. I'm excited. Hey, we're a week and about a week and a day, Grumpy, until the start of the NHL regular season. The Islanders facing off against the Carolina Hurricanes on the road in PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Man, oh man, Grumpy. 1 week.
Yeah, excited for the regular season to start. It's one thing I like about the NHL. It's not 4 weeks of preseason or 6 weeks of spring training. It's like 2 weeks and we're rolling.
Yeah, I've liked it too. But now let me ask you this, Grumpy.
I don't know what basketball does, but I really don't care either.
Have you I'm gonna glaze right over that. Now, have you been listening to a lot of the talking points, Grumpy, about people saying, oh, even though this is, a 13-game road stretch to start the season, it's not really a 13-game road stretch because we're gonna have so many breaks in between and everything like that. Do you hear that talking point often on the broadcast, Grumpy?
No, because I don't listen to anybody else. I really don't. They're mostly stupid. So I don't listen to them, honestly.
Oh, look at that, Grumpy. Oh, it plays right into your character, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the truth.
Oh, but a lot of people are talking about, this road stretch, the 13-game road stretch here that, I mean, like you're talking about an early defining point in the season. It seems silly almost to pontificate and talk about how 13 games at the very beginning of your schedule can really alter the schedule and the remaining games on the stretch for you, Grump. But do you think, how crucial do you rate this 13-game road streak here?
Well, I'm sure you've heard the saying before. The grumpy old man certainly did not come up with this saying. You can't win a championship or win a division title. Certainly we're not winning a championship, but you can't win a division title in the first couple of weeks of the season, but you can certainly lose one. So that's what I think the most important thing is. I mean, I'm not saying we have to come out gangbusters and win 9 out of 13 or anything like that, but we can't go like 4 wins and 9 losses. That I just think that would be a bad harbinger for us going into the season.
I know that. I mean, you think about it, right? We're going to spend it's a better half of the first month on the road. Our first home game is not until we play the Calgary Flames on November 20th.
Yeah, that's a long time from now. Think about that.
And the thing is, that's why you're seeing a lot of the broadcasts. I know you said, I don't listen to anybody else. I'm big old bad Grump. I don't listen to anybody else because they're usually stupid, as Grump said. That being said, Grump, they've been talking about, even though this is 13 games in a row on the road, it's not like a true, road trip because you're going to be coming back and spending time there in New York, taking breaks throughout the road stretch because, I mean, they're playing, 13 games over the better half of a month and a week. So, they're talking about all this break they're going to have in between there. I'm not sure necessarily I buy that as much. It's definitely going to be a tough road stretch. That's for certain, Grump. And I mean, as you're kind of getting your legs warmed up, but what is one thing we've always said about Barry Trotz's teams and about this New York Islanders under Barry Trotz, Grump?
They come out strong. They usually start a season strong.
Yep.
Whenever there's a break, we start strong. So
That's exactly what it is. And I was about to go ahead, and I was hoping you would have automatically known and picked up exactly what I was trying to mention. But every single year to start off the year, we've been extremely strong. And I don't expect this year to be too different, even though it is on the road. I still expect our game to be very clean. We've talked about the cons of having a veteran laden team. Well, we also have to talk about the positives of having a veteran heavy team. You're not going to have so much of we have to worry about, working out some of the kinks in our armor to start the season. We really don't have that. Being a whole bunch of veterans, your team is ready to go, hit the ground running as soon as the season starts.
And we've had the same guys playing together for years and years and years and years because we don't believe in refreshing the roster. So, that's a good thing, I guess, a positive. They can just roll out of bed and play with one another. That sounded kind of funny, but, what can I tell you?
Oh, goodness gracious, Grumpy. Oh, man. Now, have you been listening and reading up much? They're saying that Simone Varlamov might not be ready to start opening night.
No loss. No loss. The other kid's better. No loss. I'm not even concerned that he can't play. Who cares? Sorokin's better than he is. Period. End of sentence, end of story. Corey Snyder, maybe that's why he's been getting a lot of run in the preseason. They want to make sure that he can do the job as a backup. I guess he's serviceable. I didn't get to watch a lot of the game yesterday.
I didn't think Schneider was very good at all, Grump. I think Schneider, if we can avoid having him in that'd be ideal.
Yeah, I know he got a shutout last night. He went the whole distance, but I thought he gave up a lot of chances. And remember, it's just preseason, and we were playing against the Flyers C squad. But anytime you can beat the Flyers, it's a good night. So that's the way I look at it. But I didn't think he looked. I thought that he mishandled quite a few shots that came in on him. I don't think he looked real solid. I was not really impressed with his performance last night. But that said, I mean, with all the spacing between games, Sorokin should be fresh and ready to roll, even if it's for just like a week and a half.
Well,
no concerns in net for me.
The issue I have, or the concern I have, and this might be me being crazy, maybe my tinfoil conspiracy. I'm seeing a lot with Varlamov saying soreness. He's not playing today due to soreness. Air quotes for those who are listening to the podcast format. Everybody, he's feeling sore. How long are you feeling sore for? The thing I worry about is maybe it's something more impactful than soreness. That's what I'm worried about. Because here's the thing. What I don't want to have happen is he tweaks something in the offseason. He had something happen in the offseason. He's been, I've been kind of feeling a little sore. Hey, my hip's feeling a little sore. My shoulder's feeling a little sore. Yeah, let me just get a few days to rest it over here. And the training staff, they take him at his word. He just did X, Y, Z when he was training over the summer. So, he's just got to go ahead and get that right. We don't anticipate to be too long. And you see this being a lingering problem. And then what happens is all year he's battling this issue. And then, they maybe take an MRI later on down the road when they're like, this soreness should be gone after about a month and a half, 2 months. And it turns out he's got something torn. He's going to miss extended time. That's what I don't want to have happen in this situation. So anytime I'm hearing a guy out with soreness, it might just purely be soreness. But again, maybe I'm on tinfoil hat mode over here.
Okay. As far as I'm concerned, he's the backup anyway. I don't care. I don't care that he's sore. Is he injured? Yeah, he's probably injured because he's been in training camp. Here's the thing. I'm grumpy and I'm an man. So I'm the grumpy old man. And when I'm sore, I get over it after like a day or two. Certainly not, 3 weeks into training camp. He's got something else, but they don't want to tell you. I mean, those are just facts. But here's the thing. I don't care. You want to know why I don't care? Because the guy who I think deserves to be the starter is going to be the starter. I'd feel worse if Sorokin was out with soreness.
Hey, Crumpy, I think you're missing a point I'm trying to hit home is because Sorokin's not going to be able to start every game. Let's say Varlamov is out and he's got, let's say, a soreness, quotes, is going to be a little bit more than really soreness. It's more than what they're alluding to. And this is something he's going to battle the whole year. We, the Islanders, this would be the first time under the Barry Trotz, we would not have a true 1A, 1B tandem. Think about it since he joined here. Even when we had Robin Leonard and Thomas Greiss, that was the 1A, 1B tandem. and it was Varlamov and Grice. That was the 1A, 1B tandem. And it was Sorokin and Varlamov. That was the 1A, 1B tandem. Let's say Varlamov is out for an extended time period. Sorokin, I mean, like, you're going to rely upon him very heavily, I assume, and then you're not going to have the 1B tandem. I just don't know how that affects us long term. Sorokin's an excellent goaltender. I'm not worried about him. I'm just worried about the load. Goalies usually don't play the amount of games they used to, and he came from the K. They usually have historically shorter seasons. So this is something that it would be brand new to him if he's going to say, hey, I've got to go ahead and play, let's say hypothetically, 60 some odd games in a regular season. In the postseason, I'm going to be relied upon every single game. Again, it might be tinfoil. This might even worth us talking about, but I always see soreness and always just makes me think.
Are you done?
Maybe.
Are you done? Okay. I mean, you just went on and on and on, monologuing, which is fine. I don't care. I do it too, but I'm not concerned he's going to be hurt the whole year. I think he probably had something in the offseason, some surgery, something, who knows, and it just held him out of camp. I'm not concerned. And, as far as Sorokin playing too many games, they don't have a lot of their back-to-backs. I think there's one in the first couple of weeks where it's going to be Arizona and Vegas back-to-back. Well, you know what? You start Snyder against Arizona, Sorokin against Vegas. He's young. He should be able to play a lot of games. I'm not really concerned. I'm not. In the playoffs against Pittsburgh, he was playing every other night and showed no wear and tear at the end of the season. I just think it's all much ado about nothing at this point. Now, if we get into, a month and a half in the season and Varlamov is still there, then there's reason for concern. But right now, I'm not concerned. You know
what I forgot to do today, Grumpy?
Brush your teeth, go to the bathroom, put on deodorant, shave. I don't know. What did you not do today?
As you can tell, of course I haven't shaved. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we have this podcast every single Wednesday and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And to make sure you don't miss out on any of the action, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. It's imperative. Make sure you like on Facebook and follow on Twitter so you don't miss out on any of the action. We also have our sports podcast as well, where we talk about everything, including hockey, but all sports in general. Again, we have that podcast on Thursdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. That can be found in the description below. I forgot to promote our podcast again, Grump.
Yeah, I'm shocked. That's something you mess that up all the time. I will say, for those who listen to the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man podcast, it'll be on tomorrow night. I know we're going to be talking about Urban Meyer. We're going to be talking about the women's soccer league that is shooting themselves in the foot, and Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, the aftermath of the game.
Hold on, I got a question for you, Grump. Is this light? Is it melting your brain?
It's I told you, it's right. I first of all, I'm not criminal like you. All right. I've not been in front of, some kind of detectives who are doing a crime. So they put those bright lights in your face. It's like, what are you doing? I told you I don't like it.
Oh, I could tell, Grumpy. You seem like it's your first day podcasting. What's going on, man?
What do you mean my first day podcasting? My first day having a flashlight flashing me right in the face. That's the first thing. I could just shut it off right now. Believe me, very easily.
Oh man.
The fact that you're reveling in it makes me want to turn it off. Sorry, Dave. You did a great job. TJ, as usual, screwed up.
Oh no, be a good sport. Keep it on at least for today. Maybe you'll get used to it, Grumpy. That being said, what did you think about yesterday's game against Flyers? I know you said you didn't get to watch too much of it. Any takeaways you had specifically from it, Grump?
I thought the little bit that I saw, they scored on now you got to remember, of course, it was the Flyers like Z team. I mean, nobody, maybe one or two guys who were going to make the team played there.
You look at Brassard, I'm like, okay, Ristolainen's out there. But, you looked at the names, necessarily weren't, it wasn't a star-studded cast. That's not what you're going to see opening night for the Flyers.
Well, we had a lot of starters playing last night, vast majority. But I liked on the power play where Beauvillier scored. It was a nice shot, nice pass from my pal, Josh Bailey. My hero and yours, Josh Bailey, once again refusing to shoot. But it was a nice pass to a wide open Beauvillier, top of the slot, nice shot and goal. thought that Zdeno Chara looked solid out there. His skating is just as bad as I remember it last year, but I think he's going to help Noah Dobson. It'll be about managing minutes for him, but I thought he looked okay. Of course, he did take a penalty by shooting the puck out of the rink.
Delay game, yeah.
But it didn't hurt them. So, but that's why I said I didn't think Corey Snyder looked good.
Despite the shutout. No, I understand. And again, this is for Snyder too. I mean, like, he hadn't seen really game action. It's the first game action he's seen, even in a preseason format, since like last year. I mean, Snyder wasn't playing significant time or anything like that. And this is the last time he's, seen really live game format there, Grum. So yeah. I'm not too worried about him not looking great. I just, he is what he is. He's not somebody I feel comfortable with if like we've got a severe injury there to Varlamov and this soreness actually is more than soreness. But, you know how that stuff is. Just as you mentioned, they keep everything on the hush-hush, and until they actually have to disclose something or to say, oh, yeah, he's feeling sore, he could be back anytime now. In reality, it could be weeks. We have no earthly idea.
Yeah. Also, just earlier, I don't think the limited time that I've seen Zach Parise play, I don't think he's looked good. He's looked every single bit of his 58 years old out there.
Oh, look at that. Did you have to write that one down, Grumpy, to remember to slam Zach Parise?
I didn't need to. It's just so easy.
That's great.
Here's the thing. He's not ready. So many other guys who could play and maybe turn into something as opposed to that guy.
Well, I mean, Zach Parise, I don't understand what you mean by not ready. That being said, it is preseason. I take everything with a grain of salt. Yesterday's game, everybody is, trumpeting, oh, Eric Gustafsson. Yeah, you're seeing that on all the sites. Eric Gustafsson looking great. He could be playing 16, 18 plus minutes a night. Oh, let's taper it. Let's taper it off a little bit, guys. Do I think maybe he could fill in as a spot guy? Yeah, certainly. He's not a guy I feel comfortable with starting game in, game out.
Yeah, he looked okay playing against ECHL level competition last night, but this is the NHL. So, and everyone knows he doesn't play any defense. I mean, he just can't do it. So, it's all these glad-hander from the Islander media cartel. The Islanders can do no wrong. I'm sorry. If you're putting any eggs in his basket, the kids are going to be really disappointed on Easter. That's all I'm going to say.
Do you know who I thought looked really, really good last night?
See, because you put the eggs in the basket when you pick them up, and the basket has a hole in it, and the eggs just fall through. When the kids go to look at it after the Easter egg hunt, there's going to be no eggs in the basket. You understand? You understand what I'm trying to say to you? What I'm trying to put across to you?
No, I don't. I'm glad you explained that for me, Grump, step by step.
I feel I have to do that often.
Oh, man, it keeps it fun. That being said, though, I wanted to talk about this before I forgot. Anthony Beauvillier, I thought, looked excellent last night. I thought he's had a really, really stellar preseason. Again, it's preseason, only preseason, but I thought he has looked stellar so far this preseason. And again, you talk about a guy who goes to those hot and cold time periods. You want to see some consistency. I hope he can carry over this hot stretch into the start of the regular season. That's for certain.
I think he will. I mean, last year, I thought he struggled in preseason as well. And this is, like I said, a harbinger of good things to come for that second line, certainly to start the year.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It is, grumpy old man. Yeah, and I know people are going to talk about it, right? Otto Koivula sent down the waivers. Everybody, trust me, I got plenty of messages saying, sorry, TJ. Oh, hate to be the bearer of bad news. Otto Koivula going to waivers. Here's the thing. I like Otto here's the thing. I like Otto for a few reasons. Should he be sent to waivers? Yeah, he really didn't show all that much. If they could put a different playing style in that man's body and frame, because his hands are fantastic, you would have a really special guy. What's wrong? What's wrong, Grumpy? What's wrong?
I think the reason why you like him is because when he plays and he's close to being an NHL player, he's so bad that you think that maybe you could still play hockey.
That's what it is. I see Otto Koivula's talent level out there on the ice, and I say, holy crap, this guy looks like he's playing in the beer leagues on Sunday. I might be able to go ahead and slide my way into an Islanders uniform and find my way onto the roster somehow.
Well, you can put a jersey on, probably a bigger one than you're used to wearing.
I was about to say, I got to make sure it's going to fit first, Grump.
Exactly. I mean, I thought everyone kind of understood that when I said it.
Oh, what's going wrong, Grumpy? I feel like you're a little extra sassy today. Is it all this time of retirement or that bright light in your face that's getting to you, Grumpy? What is it, man?
Yes, the fact that you got me underneath the lights. So now the gloves are off.
Oh, I actually like that one. Got you underneath the light. The gloves are off. Now let me ask you this, Grumpy. Do you think that Kiefer Bellows has a chance to make the team? It's funny, right? They were talking about which spots were available. And this was on the broadcast yesterday. Which spots, Islanders are out there fighting for? You maybe got one additional forward because all the forward lines are set. So maybe you're looking for, a winger or a depth center, and you're maybe looking for a seventh or possibly even an eighth defenseman. We have no idea.
Why would you have 8 defensemen?
That's what the guy threw out there yesterday.
It's
I heard
so
that. I'm like, he meant a
dumb.
seventh defenseman. But
It's
that
so
being said,
dumb.
you have to think, right? Gustafson's going to be the guy. He's going to be your seventh defenseman.
I told you that.
Yep. And your depth forward, can you take a guess who that one might be, Grumpy?
It's probably going to be, I think it'll be Bellows because he would require waivers to go down. And I still think they want to torture him a little bit and just kind of keep him with the team, but never play him until his contract runs out and he goes the Josh Hosang route. And I'm sure they're going to keep that useless lollipop somehow on the roster because they like him. Well, he's the guy here's the thing. I'd throw him on waivers. Why? No one, and I mean freaking no one, is going to sign that guy up. No one. How many times they put him on waivers last year? He couldn't even get a sniff at $3 million a year. Why would he not be the guy you put on waivers? I mean, he has no chance I won't say he has no chance of playing because this is Barry Trotz, right? So let's see if we could rest a goal scorer to put in this piece of old garbage. Let's see if we put him in right from Russia, right from the ice barges in Russia.
Are you trying to tell me my favorite Estonian, Leo Komarov, who, as Arthur Staple told us, ladies and gents, don't forget, was a huge stabilizing factor on that first line, a fantastic first line winger. We're going to go ahead and let him clear through waivers. Not like we haven't done that before, but we're going to let him go through waivers, Grump. You think
there's no threat of him being picked up? Who's going to take $3 million in salary for Leo Komarov for what he brings to the table at this stage? No one. That's the guy you put on waivers to send down. It's not Ross Johnston, who was shown in this preseason he can play certainly just as good as the $6 million man can, or maybe now I'll call him the $4.5 million man, since only 3 more years on his deal. But certainly Ross Johnston fills in very admirably for Matt Martin. That's not a guy I'd expose to waivers. It's not going to be Kiefer Bellows. It's going to be Leo Komarov. We shampoo-looed him all last season by putting him on waivers. Never got a sniff. No one's going to go for him.
Well, the funny thing is too, right? They're talking about. I was reading an article. Now this is from our favorite group, the Islanders Inquirer, the Eyes on Isles. They happen to say that the guys they would keep are, it's no brainer. They said, by the way, this is a no brainer. Grump, Kiefer Bellows.
Well, that fits that particular website.
That particular demographic. Yeah,
they have no brains. They're absolute dumbasses. Anything that they put out there is wrong. Anything.
Grumpy, is this your time period where you say, "Hey, Eyes on Isles, we'd love to go ahead and have a conversation with you"?
I mean, my gosh, I could be asleep and I'd outwit them.
Oh, no. But
honestly, they're the worst, the absolute worst.
But he said, "Hey, it makes the most sense there, obviously, to keep Kiefer Bellows and Leo Komarov. Don't fear that Ross Johnston will have to clear through waivers. Don't fear that, ladies and gentlemen. Even though he's showing he could play, and they're starting to show Corsi stats and everything like that. I'm like, again, anybody in their right mind who would say, yeah, I would rather have Leo Komarov in the lineup in a pinch. And here's the thing. We don't even know if Matt Martin's going to be healthy come opening night either, right? This is what they're talking about too. Matt Martin's recovering from surgery. It might take him a little longer in order to get acclimated in. He might have to miss. And it's the thing, as soon as you become healthy, it's not like you're getting thrown right into game action. Matt Martin's not, a game changer where he's like, an outstanding player like a Matt Barzal. As soon as he comes back from injury, he needs to be put right back in there. That's a guy who's a fourth line grinder. He's got, in my opinion, right? Ross Johnston's done a lot of good and a lot of positive this preseason. And if he's not ready to go come opening night, guess what? That job is Ross Johnston, Matt Martin. You have to earn that job back. It's not as soon as you become healthy, Ross Johnston, you're right out of the lineup. No, in my opinion, you'd have to earn that job back. It's not like you're preordained.
Well, that's the way he treated Oliver Wahlstrom in the playoffs. But I guarantee you that won't be the case with one of his little pals, one of his little aged buddies. They automatically get penciled back in there. Why are we even talking about Leo Komarov?
Well, here because
he sucked out loud last year, and we're talking about potentially him being in the opening night lineup. Think about that. When you have so many players better than him, so many.
I like your shirt though today, Grump. You're wearing your Josh Bailey shirt.
Yeah, I do, because he did make a nice pass on that assist to Villiers.
And he scored a goal yesterday too.
Who cares? It was probably an own goal.
Oh no! Oh, we shut him out, so it wasn't an own goal.
Well, maybe it went off another guy, one of the defensive players' sticks or something. And I'm sure he was just trying to make a pass, and there was some type of deflection that went in off another skate.
So and again, we've seen this thrown around a few times. Do you think, what are the odds that we would see Oliver Wahlstrom sent down to Bridgeport to start the season? Because, hey, Barry said, I need more out of you, Oliver Wahlstrom. And again, I don't think his play really has, shown more. I'm using quotes on that one, and like air quotes. But could you see Oliver Wahlstrom being sent down to Bridgeport, even though I think that would be crazy and asinine, in order to suffice so we can keep Ross Johnston, we can keep Leo Komarov from going to waivers, and we can keep Kiefer Bellows from going to waivers? All we're going to do is just send down Oliver Wahlstrom. Could you see something like that happening?
I guess I could see it happen. They do stupid crap like that all the time. They're just infatuated with the old guys, which I'm sorry, I just don't believe in that. Young guys should play. The best players play. Best players play. Kiefer Bellows, way better than Leo Komarov. And here's the thing. If you were another team looking to take someone from the Islanders off of waivers, would you rather have Leo Komarov or Ross Johnston? A guy who makes $1 million a year for one more year, or a guy who makes $3 million? A guy who's a physical presence out there, throws the body, can poke in the odd goal, or a guy who just, even when he's playing on a first line with a top-level talent of Bappers, can't score? I mean, who would you go for?
To be honest, I probably would, depending on the team, I probably would avoid both of them, to be quite frank. If you're a team where it's like, hey, we're fighting out in the bottom, we're towards the cap floor, and, we're looking to have a guy who's a heart, blood and guts type of guy, that's the only reason I would maybe consider if, let's say, Ross Johnston were to be on waivers in some capacity. Because remember, and I look at this if I was an organization too, Ross Johnston was giving it his all out there, was a heart, one of those heart pieces on the team when Doug Waite was there and the team had no heart. When the team had no heart, he was one of the few people that did. And that, again, for teams that are, one of those cellar dweller types of team, exactly what he's going to bring to the ice. You know exactly what he's going to bring to the practice arena. You know exactly what he's going to bring to training facilities every single day. You see it out there on the ice. No matter how miserable the team was, no matter how bad they struggled, he still gave it 110%. And for that, that helps change culture. Not saying it changes culture overnight, but it helps being one of those contributing factors that changes culture.
Yeah, he's a solid citizen. To me, he's better than Matt Martin at this stage of his career. Just is. I take him over Matt Martin, certainly over Lollipop, and any of the myriad of players that they insist are still good at their advanced stage.
Oh, looky there, Grumpy. Well, let me ask you this. I know we kind of alluded to this. We're going to talk about it on this day's podcast. What do you expect? What are your season expectations? I know we had talked about it. And again, we'll come out with the rankings of where we think the Metro is going to lay down, where the Islanders are going to be. We've been on the record already. I think the Metro is going to be weak this year.
Yeah, I don't think the Metro, I don't think the teams are as strong. I think we're pretty balanced. Certainly the top, the top 5 or 6 teams, I think are all pretty even, but I don't think it's a, best division in the league anymore. I just don't see that. I think that's the, whatever the heck, the Tampa Bay, Florida, whatever division that's called. I don't even know the names anymore. They change them all the time, so who knows? I call them the Southeast. I don't know what they call it now.
Yeah, grumpy old man. We're talking about the I'm pulling it there.
Yes, he doesn't know. See, the Metro division.
Grumpy, what can I say? There's only so much I could do. You're talking about the Atlantic.
They're the Atlantic? Okay.
The Atlantic. They've gone back and reverted back to the name of the Atlantic. Yeah, with Lightning, the Maple. And again, we've talked about it before. That Atlantic division is tough. Hey, Tampa, Montreal, Florida Panthers. You've got you got the Boston Bruins. You've got the Toronto Maple Leafs. Hey, the Red Wings. Don't sleep on the Red Wings either. Hey, you want to know else who's had a fantastic preseason?
Who?
Well, there's a few of them. Some used to play for the Islanders. Now, Nick Leddy has had a really good again, it's just preseason. But hey, when he's in a system to where he could be a little bit heavier on the forecheck and it suits his style a little more, Nick Leddy's having a pretty good preseason.
Yeah, our system, players with talent need not apply because we don't care if you have talent as long as you can play system. Eventually, though, you need guys with talent if you want to win a Stanley Cup.
Here's the thing. I don't miss Nick Leddy. Well, depending on, I guess with the replacement we have, maybe I might miss Nick Leddy a little bit. But as a player, I don't miss him too much in this system. Again, extremely lazy at times. Probably, here's the thing too, right? It's easy to become disengaged when you're a more offensive-minded player and you have to focus a lot more on defense. It's easy to have those mental lapses. But he's looked good. I think that, the Red Wings system fits Nick Leddy a little bit better than the Islander system did regarding what his style of play is, more of that offensive defenseman. But he's had a pretty good preseason, and Josh Ho-Sang earned himself a contract there with the Toronto Marlies. So again, congrats there to him too. Hopefully, he can continue to plug away, maybe get his chance there in Toronto for the Maple Leafs.
Good for him. I'm rooting for him. I honestly am. Nice to see he turn that PTO into a contract. Somehow he wasn't able to do it here, even though we have no one who can do anything offensively in our organization. He wasn't able to stick here. I just find that kind of interesting, shall I say.
Well, I tell you, it's our team. We have so much depth that,
is it really depth? Is it really depth, or is it just a whole bunch of the same jag type guys that we have on this team? I mean, no one stands out as having any individual ability, not anybody who can change the course of a game. They just, we can skate up and down the ice. We can play a little bit of defense, keep the puck out of the net. That's all we ask for here. And we'll maybe get lucky and score a goal.
Well, I want to get back to the question I asked you earlier, though. Expectations for the Islanders. I know we talked about what would be disappointing, right? If you don't, bare minimum, if you don't make the playoffs, and I think you've got to get to the same point, I would be, relatively disappointed. Again, everything changes with injuries, etc. But, going into this season, you want to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Otherwise, I'm going to be a little disappointed. But I just want to understand a little bit about your expectations going into this year. We told it the Metro, we think is going to be a relatively weak division.
I think we're going to make the playoffs. I don't think we're going to win division. And for me, I think we're going to win one round and then lose to Carolina. That's what I think is going to happen. And that's my expectation. I mean, but Islander fans seem to be happy with that because they're happy with the no moves that we make every year. So I don't expect to get better.
I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong there. I think a lot of Islanders fans, I want to hear Islanders fans weigh in here too on this. I think a lot of Islanders fans are at the point where we're starting to build. And now that, hey, we've hit the same exact point 2 years in a row, we've been to the Eastern Conference Finals in back-to-back years, it's time to see us take the next step. I think a lot of Islander fans, just like you and I, are at the same point. I don't think every Islander fan saying, hey, I'm just happy making the playoffs still. There's that time period where you say, all right, we've seen that. What's the next step? What's the next way to get us to the cup?
I think the elevator's on the way down. We're an older team, right? We're not going to be getting better. Not under Barry Trotz with this group of players. He's gotten the most out of these players that you possibly can. Kudos to Barry Trotz. But his steadfast refusal to give younger players bigger roles, those are the players who can get better over time. He just refuses to do that. That's going to hurt us in the long run. And I feel it already has, honestly.
So let's break it down. You think it's going to hurt us in the long run? I think Sorokin, let's say he's given more time. Let's say Varlamov misses the first few games to start the season. Sorokin comes in and he proves to be everything we had ever expected and imagined. He builds off of last season, looks even more dominant in that. And let's say he takes the lion's share. He is now the 1A as opposed to Varlamov. Would you not say that's an upgrade in that?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Hold on.
Okay, no, listen to me now. Last year in the playoffs, Varlamov was giving up a goal the first shot every.
Grumpy, I think you froze there a little bit. But yeah, Varlamov was giving up a goal about every single game. That for certain he was. And again, it was on the first few shots every single game. And again, when you're looking at that, it definitely did not help the Islanders out regarding their success. I ain't Grumpy, you're back. But no, I hate your points, Grumpy old man. Again, that Varlamov was giving up consistently goals in the first few shots every single game. And again, when you're playing from behind, it's hard to win. But I'm sorry, I want to let you get back to your point.
And Sorokin came in and saved our bacon against Pittsburgh, right? He proved that he was the starter, and he carried us. He won games for us in net that Varlamov couldn't do, right? As soon as he loses one game, out he comes, never to be seen again. Back goes in Varlamov. That's the crux to the problem with Barry Trotz. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you're not one of the vets on this team, the trusted veterans, you're going to sit down the first time things don't go right.
Well, my question here is this. Let's say, and again, I'm going to pose it the same exact way. Sorokin takes it, he takes reins, and he has a stellar season. Let's say under this system, he's coming close to leading the NHL in save percentage, goals against average, you name it. It's possible. Not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's possible. I don't think he's going to sit him down for Varlamov. He rides the hot hand historically. And if you're entering the playoffs with Sorokin as your goalie, would you not say that's a plus in net? I mean, again, our goalies are fantastic, both of them. In this system, they both perform, and they've got excellent numbers. That being said, would you not like to favor Sorokin in net over Varlamov? I think that's a plus. You're talking about how is this team going to be better? I want to show you maybe how it could be better. I'm not saying it will. I just want to show you areas to where it could be.
Yes, that would be. But you are ignoring the history of Barry Trotz and what he does. I don't think you can do that.
I think Sorokin is a veteran. What is he, 25, 26 years old now?
He's only played his thing. He's only played one half a year with us. I mean, those are just facts, right? And given a chance, Barry will always play the veteran over the young guy. Always. Always.
I wouldn't call Sorokin young. He's 25.
Oliver Wahlstrom, scoring goals, right?
Okay.
A man on a power play gets a little bit of an injury against Pittsburgh. Never to be seen again. Why? Well, Travis Zajac was doing good. We were winning with Travis Zajac in there. We were winning with Leo Komarov. How about we got beat 8-0 and we couldn't score a goal against Tampa when we scored 11 goals in 7 games? You still didn't think you needed a guy who could put the puck in the net? No. That's the way Barry Trotz is. The other kid was infinitely more talented and way better of a player at this stage of his career than Komarov and Zajac, but he would not put him in the lineup. We just see him up there, boop, boop, eating the popcorn up there in the press box when he's healthy to go.
Okay.
That's Barry Trotz in a nutshell.
Thanks, Grumpy. I know you wanted to hit on it, but we agree. We agree. We agree. If Sorokin's in net, let's say come playoffs, and if he's getting more starts than Varlamov, we believe he's a better netminder. That leads to better goaltending, ideally, right? So that's a plus in that. We can agree on that. That would be a plus in that. Defense.
Do you remember when I told you the Islanders weren't going to do anything in the offseason 3 years ago? You remember that?
I remember.
And you told me, well, what if you're wrong, Grumpy?
You're going to let me answer? You're going to let me answer?
No.
I remember when you told me 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and this last year. So I remember every single year.
And you keep on saying, well, what if? What if? I said, here's the thing. You're not learning from history. See, that's what happens when you're young and dumb. Okay, when you get a little bit older, your brain, the back of your head kind of hardens up a little bit. You start keeping some of the whatever's bouncing around in those motor neurons up top.
What do they say?
Right now you're losing them just like you're losing your hair. You're losing them, popping right out of your skull.
They say
all self-contained.
Jesus Christ, you're going to keep going? Holy Grumpy. Young, dumb, and full of what.
I didn't say that.
Well, I did. So that being said, Grumpy, we can agree. If Sorokin plays, and again, he's not young. It's not like he's not. He's 25 years old. Plenty of professional experience. And again, that's a guy who has the trust of Barry Trotz. And I think again, if he could show it this year, where he's put up monster numbers, it's hard to go away from a guy who's been outstanding. That being said, could be a plus in that defense. I think Noah Dobson is going to take a monstrous step forward. Monstrous. Last year, I think he was poised to do it. COVID derailed that. And I think he is ready to continue to pick up where he was last year to the end of the year and take a step forward on top of that. Based off of what I've seen in the preseason, based off of the talent level I know he's got, I think he could definitely take the step forward. I do. I agree it. Again, I'm not expecting Adam Pelech to take a step forward. Man, oh man, that guy had about as good of a season as humanly possible he had last year. I do expect Ryan Pulock to take a little bit of a step forward. That was a really bad, uncharacteristic year out of him. So, hey, maybe if Pelech could stay the same, he probably might even decrease a little bit production-wise. Pulak, I think all he's got to go is up. I don't think he could possibly have a worse year offensively in the way he styles than he did last year. I think Dobson's going to take a step forward. I think, hey, I'll expect it. I think Mayfield will not have as good as he won't play as well as he did in the playoffs, but he'll play better than he did in the regular season last year. But I think Chara and Green will take a little bit of a step back. So I think our defense stays relatively the same. Even when you have certain players decreasing, I think you have enough players increasing their game to kind of offset that.
Okay. So you're expecting Gustafsson to come in and contribute. Here's the thing. Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see Gustafsson come in for Chara, so we give him a rest and play him with Dobson, because that's a recipe for disaster. Remember, Gustafsson does not play defense. He does not. They've really made sure that they've put him in situations so he can succeed, because that's what they do with guys they want on the team. If you're a guy they don't want a team, put him with a couple of, eighth line players, and then, he didn't score a goal tonight, banished. Where that's not the case with the guys they like. They've given Gustafsson every single chance to succeed. They like what they've seen. I feel he will be the seventh defenseman. They're just going to have to be careful with who they pair him with.
Well, the funny thing is, you mentioned that. Do I feel comfortable having Gustafsson step in? Is the funniest part about it, right? How many times did we hear? And again, you said you didn't listen to the broadcast too much, so I'll explain it here for you. You heard him joking around. Well, I can't imagine Zdeno Chara playing 82 games next year. Yeah, I would like to think the same exact thing. That being said, Zdeno Chara played 55 of the 56 regular season games for the Washington Capitals last season. So do I think he's going to be playing? They said there's no way he's going to be playing anywhere close to the 82 games, the full season is. Sure. But I mean, I think realistically, Chara's probably going to play 70 games. I still think that's too many, to be quite frank. I mean, the guy played everything but one game, I think, last year, right? Because last year, at a 56-game season, he played 55 games. I think he's going to be playing still the large majority. I would be shocked if he misses more than 12 games if there's not an injury involved. Or, as long as there's not an injury involved, I think he's still going to be playing around 70 games.
I don't mind Zdeno Chara being on the team. I don't.
I worry what it looks like in the playoffs.
Yeah. Here's the thing. He's still, for as great as he's been over his career, he's still 44 years old, and he's not a great skater. That's why it's imperative that he's paired with Dobson, who can skate. And I think he's going to teach Dobson even more than Andy Green did. I just think that Chara is a way better defenseman still than Andy Green, just with his size and his hockey knowledge. And Green has that too. But the fact that it comes in a much bigger package than Zdeno Chara, I think that makes it where it'll be more beneficial to Dobson. And that's really all I care about is development of Noah Dobson this year. And I think that you're right. I do feel he's going to try to maybe play 70 some odd games. But you watch, they're going to try to slither that Gustafsson in there somewhere.
I think Gustafsson will be slithered in there. I just don't think it's going to be like, hey, Chara plays 60% of the games or 70% of the games, and then Green plays 70, and then Gustafsson's playing like 40 or 50 or anything like that. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to see maybe Gustafsson getting a spot start here or there if a guy's really feeling tired or has a little niggle or he's injured or banged up, the fatigue of the season. But I think he's going to play the line share. I think defense, though, we're talking about section by section, who's improved, who can go backwards. I think defense, you could see about the same. And again, the system really helps the defensive performance too. So I think it's also worth mentioning that. I think you could see improvement out of a few guys. I think you're going to see a little bit of a step up by a few guys too, though.
Well, even though we lost Nicoletti, I thought it was a bad pairing last year. Yeah. Leddy and Mayfield. They just didn't click. I think it'll be much better this year with Andy Green. And I think that Chara and Dobson will be better. It's all about you're replacing a guy who's 29 years old last year with a guy who's 44 now.
And we've talked about it too, right? The funniest thing was Scott Mayfield's game elevated when Nick Leddy was at his worst in the playoffs. So it's always funny to look at that contrast. But, so if you're thinking defensive-wise, do you think we took a major step backwards? Do you think we stayed the same? I think we're pretty much the same there on defense. Maybe a little bit of step forward, backwards. It's relatively the same, in my opinion.
Okay, no, you don't like it. I know that you don't like Nicoletti, and you've never liked Nicoletti. I wasn't a super big fan, but he played 22 minutes a night. Okay. And that's going to be hard to replace initially. And you're talking about replacing it with a 44-year-old. I'd be interested to see how the minutes get spread out. And is that going to work in the long run? I mean, here's the thing. We're going to find out real quick. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah, I do. Those are definitely questions. And again, we've addressed those before. I'm just talking about overall production, section and group by group. I think our defense is relatively the same. I think production from our defense is going to be relatively the same. And again, I think it's a very big testament to Barry Trotz and the system he's got. I think it certainly is. So I think defensive production going to be relatively the same. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. It's going to be a moot point, though. I think that's relatively the same. I think goaltending, we take a step forward again, as I mentioned with Sorokin. And now we got to go to offense and forward groupings, Grumpy. I think what?
We have 8 forwards over 30 years old. Start season. 8, 30 years and older. One guy's 29. I mean, do you think that's who did we add? Nobody. We didn't add anybody.
No, we did add one really big piece. His name is Zach Parise.
Oh, Zach Parise. That's right. The guy who's admitted that he can't fit in with the system. Yeah, I'm kind of lost right now. 37 years old, 15-year vet, whatever he is, 18-year vet, and he feels, well, I don't really know the system. That's okay. Barry's got his back for him. Oh, don't you worry, Zach. It's okay. Yeah, we know Kiefer Bellows is outplaying you like 3-1. But you know what? I believe in you.
You're trying to hold on. Now, did they come out there and say that? Did he come out and say that he did not feel like he understood the system yet or didn't feel comfortable yet?
He thought he was struggling with the system.
Oh, I did not see that anywhere. Where did you see that, Grump?
I read it somewhere. I don't know where. Maybe The Athletic.
Maybe we can look at his game and say it looks like he's struggling a little with the system. I don't think he came out and said he's struggling with the system.
He came out and said he's struggling with the system right now. He came out and said it.
Wow. Okay. I will have to try to.
But here's the thing, right? When I read that, you know what I thought? I thought Jordan Eberle. He struggled with it too. Took a half a season before he got acclimated to it. Why? Because he was an offense-only player. That's exactly what Zach Parise is or was. So he's going to have to alter his game. The whole thing is he's going to get a lot of rope because he's a 37-year-old veteran. Where you got a guy like Kiefer Bellows who puts points up. He makes one defensive mistake, banished. We're never going to see you again. That's the Barry Trotzism. That's the problem with Barry Trotz right there.
But I think forwards, I want to get back to the overarching point. Again, these are not things I disagree with you on with Barry Trotz, right? You know, that they're things that I see, and I think most level-headed fans, when they watch the game, could say, yeah, I noticed that that's a trend. You know, right, wrong, or indifferent, that is something that does happen. That being said, I think forward group stays relatively the same from last season. Again, except all healthy. Again, you have to hope that your team's healthy. You know, a few injuries to, key players. It's going to be bad and it's going to be rough for us. I mean, again, we've always said if we lose Matt Barzal or Anthony Beauvillier for an extended time period, we're really going to be in trouble. You know, I think forward grouping are similar. So, you're looking at, this year into next year or last year compared to this year. I think we could take a little bit of a step forward. It's not going to be monumental, Grump, right? You'd like to think ideally Oliver Wahlstrom might, elevate his game a little bit, right? You'd like to think that. You'd like to think Matt Barzal is continuing to take steps forward in his game, and Anthony Beauvillier is too. You'd like to think some of those players are taking step forwards when you might have some players taking a tiny step backwards. You might have your Josh Baileys, some of your older players taking a step backwards. You might have an Anders Lee coming off of that knee surgery, maybe take a little bit of a step backwards because last year he was on fire. 2 years ago, not so much.
Okay. You think Oliver Wahlstrom's going to take a step forward, getting 10, 11 minutes a game on the third line? I don't, because guess what? He's not a third line player. He's a top 6 player. He's a goal scorer. So he's not going to get better. I mean, how many even strength goals did he score last year? Not too many. They're all on the power play. That kid should be playing with Matt Barzal. Put that useless dog F- on the third line where he belongs with his former devil buddy, Zach Parise.
He did. Yeah, he scored 8 even strength goals in 44 games.
And how many power play goals? 9?
4 power play goals.
Why do I think he had 9 power play
You
goals?
always do this, but he did not. He was not second on the team in power play goals like you like to think.
I heard he was second on the team in power play goals. Is that correct?
Let me go ahead and take sets. I'm going to the Rolodex. Oh no, he was not. He was not second, Grumpy. He was first. No. He had 4 power play goals, Grump.
Okay.
Again, he plays really well on the power play, and he's going to continue to get power play time. Ideally, you'd like to think your power play takes a step forward this year, right? Oliver Wahlstrom, if given a chance to succeed in being in that role, I think he takes a step forward, right? And you look at your power play, you lost Nick Leddy. He's off the power play. And instead, now you've got hopefully Oliver Wahlstrom continue to grow. You've got Kyle Palmieri replacing Jordan Eberle. You've got Zach Parise, who I'm sure is going to be thrown in the mix. And you'd like to think Noah Dobson is going to take a step forward on his power play abilities too.
He should be on the first power play unit. Will he? I don't know. We'll see.
Who is that?
Noah Dobson. He should be on the first power play unit. He should be the quarterback on that power play unit. Will he? I don't know. Or is it going to be Pulak? Or whenever he puts Gustafson in there, he's going to be playing the power play, right? So then who doesn't play those minutes?
You'd like to think, though, Ryan Pulak, again, is – damn, man, oh, man. I know he is a veteran. You'd like to think they sent him home and they said, what are the areas that we can improve on, Ryan Pulak, in your game? They're going through the list. All righty, we want you to stay in good condition. We want you to be able to, do what they're supposed to do with that. Check. We think you're good defensive positionally. We think, you've got a good relationship with Adam Pelech. Check on that one. Oh, I'm noticing a big glare here. You need to be able to put the puck on net a little more often. I need you to go. You know how some players like Matt Barzal needs to go to face-off camp in the offseason? Ryan Pulak, you need to go and hit the freaking net camp.
You know what I think? I think that Ryan Pulak should get a deal with Safe Light Auto Glass.
Why is that?
Because he can't hit the net. All he does is hit the glass behind him. Clank, clank, clank. Hey, we can fix your glass. Right, Ryan Pulak? Sure. I see him hitting cars out in the parking lot instead of putting it on net.
You want to see how durable this Safe Light glass is? Whoosh, this is my 102 mile an hour slap shot. Bam! Look at that. It just goes ahead every single game. It bounces about 4 or 5 of these off with no issue. This glass right here sure is durable. Feel this plexiglass.
They understood when I said it. They didn't need to break down your lame breakdown of what I was
saying. Grumpy. You know what? Dave, send him another light. Send him another light. Send him another light. He needs another light. Maybe 3 or 4 more lights.
Put on this side here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll feel like a deer on the highway. I'll feel like a deer on the highway.
Maybe 1 above and 1 below too, Grumpy. That would make me happy.
Isn't it time for you to go to the bathroom?
Not yet, Grumpy. Okay. Not yet. But, so I think that's the way we can improve, right? If Sorokin takes his steps forward, this is all bearing, hey, we're healthy, and that, these older players don't take huge steps backwards.
Older players don't get better.
No. I agree. They don't get better.
You can just hope that they stay the same. But most of them now, you're going to see their game on the downside.
No, for certain I will. I'm just, again, our podcast, Grumpy, as we've mentioned a million times, is not to say, hey, this is the only way we can see. It's just like this with little freaking blinders on or anything like that. We try to say, can the team improve? Yes. These are the only ways that we could see that as possible. We present both sides of it. The only way I could see it being possible is if Sorokin takes a step forward and he gets the lion's share in that. That's how you improve in that. Defense, the only way you can improve is if Noah Dobson and Ryan Pulak take major steps forward, and you hope that Zdeno Chara and Andy Green don't take major steps backward. On the offensive side of the puck, you have to hope Matt Barzal, Beauvillier, and Oliver Wahlstrom improve at a better rate than you've got your players who are over 30 and how quick they decrease. You have to hope they are slowly taking steps backwards, not big steps.
Boy, there's a lot of ifs and buts and cans and nuts there. I mean, I
would
think, you know what? Okay, so instead of coming in 4th in division, we maybe come in 3rd. I mean, is that, you know what I'm saying? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think we need to come in 3rd in order to make the playoffs this year because
that's right.
We're matching up with the Atlantic Group. Yeah. You talk about that division is a freaking stout division.
Yeah, but either way, it's not good news for us. I don't know. We didn't do anything in the offseason to improve, period. Nothing in the offseason to improve the team. Nothing.
I told you the only ways we can improve. We just went down the list.
Nothing. We did nothing in the offseason to improve. Nothing. I'm going to explain it to you again. Nothing to improve in the offseason. We did nothing in the offseason to improve our team for the 3rd. That's right. 1, 2, 3 straight years. Nothing to improve.
Did you forget what was after 2, Grumpy?
I was going to say 3rd, and I said, I just used 3rd. Let me go 3. I'm like, it didn't work. And it didn't work the other way. Thanks for calling me out on it. 3 straight years, we did nothing to improve in the offseason. That's why we don't get better in the offseason. That's why we have to piss away first-round draft picks, and we have nothing in the cupboard going forward. Why? Because we don't improve ourselves in the offseason. So we throw away high draft picks every single year to try to backfill our team to maybe get to the semifinals and get beat there. I mean, shampoo Lou, wash, rinse, repeat, same thing.
Oh, Grumpy. I wasn't sure if you're going to blame your mistake on the light. I really thought that was a layup for you, but you missed it.
No, I'm immune to the light now.
Oh, he's immune to the light. Hey, Dave, send another one.
I feel like I need a cane. I'm going to need a cane after this.
Oh, man. I just remember the one time.
I don't know what's worse, walking around in the middle of the night in the dark or having this truck light flashing me in the face.
I love it. Anytime we try to bring production value up and tell Grumpy, hey, Grumpy, we've got your new pair of headphones that can improve the audio of it. He's going there. He's like, I hate these headphones. I can never wear them again. Wears them one podcast, never wears the headphones ever.
Because I had water in my ears. The things made me sweat. I was like, shh, shh. I mean, my God.
Like an old Mickey Mouse cartoon?
Like any cartoon. Terrible.
Oh man, Grumpy. So the ways forward, the ways we can improve, that's really the only way I could see that as possible. And maybe at the trade deadline, if you're extremely healthy, you can add an additional piece. I'm sure other teams are going to do the same. So again, you really have to hope that whoever you add is going to really mesh with your team. There's
another way we can improve in the standings.
How?
If all the other teams disband, I think then we have a legitimate shot.
Yeah, I'm going to put that the odds of that happening are pretty low.
Yeah, just as high as us getting any better in this offseason.
Oh, there it is. There's the Grumpy I know and love. But yeah, Grumpy, we're going to start diving into some comments here about.
Hopefully, we don't lose any.
Oh, hopefully we don't lose any. Fingers crossed. That being said, Grumpy, Scott L saying, "Hey guys, what's up, Scott?"
Scott always loved the picture. Scott's got the best picture.
And then Emmanuel R said, "TJ, Otto Koivula on waivers. Are there going to be any takers? No, afraid not."
Emmanuel, is that a caricature of Hunter S. Thompson as your picture? I'm just wondering.
I don't know who that is, but
I know you don't know who it is. That's why I'm asking Emmanuel.
Oh, thanks, Grumpy. That being said, no, I don't think there are going to be any takers on Otto Koivula. He's going to be down there in Bridgeport. So unless he can go ahead and add about half a stride in his skating gait, I don't think he's going to be ever finding his way on an NHL roster.
He skates just as well as Leo Komarov does now, and certainly just as good as Matt Martin or Zdeno Chara or any of these other players.
Yeah, but for a forward, you want to have who's got the silky smooth hands who can put the puck in the net. You need to be able to skate a little better.
Really, Leo Komarov doesn't. He doesn't need that.
That's not his ability. Leo Komarov does a really good job of getting licked. He does a really good job of agitating. The thing that pisses me off about Otto Koivula, but I love about him, he's got great size, but he just doesn't use it. Sounds like somebody else you hate.
Croc Nelson. Sounds like Croc.
Yeah. D-cut. Grumpy says, in TJ time, 8 p.m. is 8:20.
D-cut, of course, from the legendary Isles Misery Rated R fan site. I love to pump them up. Why? Because they're loyal to us. Some other websites, not so loyal. Guess what? Never freaking ever am I going to pump you. Never.
Oh, look at you, Grumpy. Look at that D-cut.
One hand washes the other, my friends.
Oh, look at that. Adrienne B says, hey, TJ and the grumpy old man. Grumpy, what do you
Adrienne? I got to be first before TJ. I know you love TJ. I know you do. But still, I'm more talented than him.
Oh, looky there. Emmanuel R said, Grumpy, what did you think of Big Z last night?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it earlier. I thought the limited amount I was able to see it, I don't know, it went out and I couldn't get it back up, so I didn't see it. But I thought he looked slow, but he knows what he's doing. I think he's going to be a good partner for Dobson. And that's what I said. If he signed, he had to be with Dobson.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I didn't have to wait for some go-ahead from Barry Trotz before I mentioned that. No. All these other glad-handed websites. Oh, let's wait until King Barry. We bow to Barry. We bow to Lou. Whatever they say is what really matters. Not me. I tell you exactly the way it is right up front. I don't need to hear from those two toadies. I tell you exactly how it's going to be right off the top. And I'm right 99% of the time.
I don't know who usually helps us with this. If someone could clip that little animation of Grumpy Old Man doing that, I would be forever grateful. We'll give you a shout out, that's for certain. Grumpy, before we got some comments, I'll give you one comment that we almost lost, Grumpy. We almost lost this from Mike Montemoro saying, get ready. Here we go. Grumpy for president.
I tell you what, I know Mike Montemoro. I sent him a washcloth as a comb for Christmas. He makes me look like Fabio. Love you, Mike.
Oh, man. Absolutely, Mike. And
it was his birthday just recently, too.
Happy birthday, Mike. I'm going to go ahead. Grumpy, we got an ad to read, though, before we continue, Grumpy Old Man.
Okay.
Hockey is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook has an unbelievable offer to celebrate the greatest sport on ice. New customers can bet just $1 on any hockey game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. Doesn't matter if it's a one-time clapper or a deft deflection. However, they light the lamp, you win. If DraftKings Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, DraftKings won't leave you empty-handed. Everyone can play for huge cash prizes all season long with DraftKings daily fantasy contests. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions of dollars in total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN to throw down $1 on any hockey game and win $100 in free bets if either team scores a goal. This week, one puck in the net and you win big. Promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook. You must be 21 years or older in New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. A minimum of a $5 deposit and a $1 wager is required. One per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full details. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Grumpy, did you like how I had, and again, like when I read ads, sometimes I'm like, oh God, this is nothing I'd ever say. You watch a score, a one-time clapper or a deft deflection. I'm like, that's not everything I would ever say.
I know, because the words actually make sense. So it is not something you would normally say.
Oh, look at that.
I know you've never used the word deft before. How long, first of all, I know the script has to be written for you. But how long did it take you to monkey mimic those words? How many times did you have to go through that before you'd actually finished? I don't know. I know as a former football player, you probably can't count that high. So I'm going to say it was probably more than 2.
About 15 days.
I don't doubt it.
15 full days, 24 hours a day, Grumpy Old Man. Tireless work, 15 of them.
So we've heard.
Yeah, we heard right here from me. Brett W. said, now we know why the old man is grumpy regarding the light in his face.
Okay. Thank you, Brett.
Jason C. said, grumpy is a hockey god.
That's right, Jason. You're the man, baby.
Emmanuel R. also said, I think Bellows stays up and Wallstrom gets sent down. What do you guys think? I think that is exactly what maybe might happen, because Wallstrom, hey, we don't have to worry about exposing him to waivers. We're going to keep Kiefer Bellows up. We're also going to keep Leo Komarov, because we can't afford to lose Leo Komarov. I think Leo Komarov's going to be kept up there, and maybe Ross Johnson.
If you expose Leo Komarov to waivers, who cares? No one's picking him up. No one's picking up Leo Komarov at $3 million a year. A wild overpay on a contract 3 years ago when he signed it.
He cleared waivers, what was it, 3 times last year?
3, 4, 10, 15. It doesn't matter. No one in the league wants him. Brad Marchand doesn't even want him. He doesn't even want him. And he loves the way he tastes. Why else would he lick him all those times? Even he didn't want him off waivers. He didn't say, hey, Bruins, let's get Leo here because I need to lick him up.
Oh, man. Lou R. said, maybe this light will burn some sense into him, talking about Grumpy. Yeah, it's going to burn some sense into you, Lou says.
Doubtful.
Frank K. said, Gustafson and Salo have played well. Ryan Reeves' injury didn't look good.
I didn't see the injury. Isn't he with the Rangers now?
Yes, he is.
So that's good news too. So good news all around. Injury to a Ranger player, and Gustafson and Salo have looked well.
Oh, holy hell. Ooh, No, oh my God. I'll let you look at this, grumpy old man, and I'll ask your opinion on it. People are hypothesizing that there's a hypothesis out there that maybe there was a sleuth foot involved. I'll let you watch this. Not good might be an understatement. I'm sorry the video quality is kind of crummy on this one. Look at this, Grumpy. Oh, yeah, it does look a little. Oh, I wasn't sorry.
Yeah,
This does look a little like a sleuth foot by PK Subban. Oh, Subban. Oh, he definitely stuck his foot out. Oh my God.
Nah, he'd be already tough.
He definitely sticks the foot out there. I don't know if he's trying to go after the puck, but usually you're not supposed to scorpion like that on the ice.
That's true.
Ooh.
That's right. He plays for the Rangers. He's all right. He's tough.
Oh my goodness!
I bet you he'll remember Subban's number when they play later in the year.
I was about to say, expect. Here's the thing: when you're doing something like that in preseason, oh buddy, it's a long year there. PK, watch out. Oh yeah, I'm definitely thinking that's now that I'm watching it in slow mo. That definitely looks like there's a sleuth foot involved because the puck
kick
is
action, everything.
Yeah. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah. Not a good look for PK.
Talking about a guy overrated, man. PK Subban's overrated.
Well, he was a guy who
overrated.
I'm not disagreeing.
With a capital O.
Yeah, and I remember like they had talked about that on broadcast and telecast last year, and they said, "Oh, looks like this is the year he finally kind of gets back on track." Not so sure about that.
No.
Ooh, man, oh man, I'm just watching this again, Grumpy. Yikes, that's a bad one. Dave C said Schneider playing the whole game. Is Varlamov more hurt than we think?
I think so.
I think he's more hurt than soreness. I'll tell you that much. As to how,
I think he's going to miss a little bit of time. So they just want to make sure that Schneider can, play the occasional game, maybe 2 games out of the first 13. That's all we'll need him for.
Yeah, fair enough. Dave C also said, we got the light working. Now we just need the mic.
Very close. Thank you, Dave. Oh, so this is the Dave. Thank you.
This is the Dave. Yes, Grumpy.
I actually figured out, but then TJ said he couldn't hear me with it. Don't worry, Dave. We are making steady progress. Here's the thing. One thing I guarantee you, I will have this microphone up and running before TJ gets the T-shirts ready.
Oh, is that what it is?
You only had a year and a half to do that.
Oh man, Grumpy. Thanks for that one. I want to show you the full clip, Grumpy. I'm sorry. I've got to watch this one again just because this is a little bit better quality. It's for a little bit few seconds longer. Boop. He trips him up right there, and I just want you to watch PK. He seems like he's empathetic over here, like, oh, man, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? Are you okay? He damn well knew he was sleuth-footing there, Ryan Reeves. He damn well knew what he was doing out there. I'm sorry. That was not an accident.
Did he? Okay.
PK, you damn well.
I'll just take your word for it because it never made its way on the screen. And here's the thing. No one cares about you self-pleasuring yourself by watching these videos.
I just want you to see, look how concerned PK looks over there. Oh, man, I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm so sorry. It's hockey news, Grump. It's worth talking about here. We're still in the preseason, Grumpy. Anytime I could find news like this, yeah, but Ryan Reeves looks like he is a little banged up. I do not buy any of this concern as being genuine. That is for damn certain. Because, again, we'll see it. He definitely sticks that leg out as he's coming through. He definitely trips him there. I definitely see that leg being up because it's still up on the boards. Yeah, he definitely tried to trip him. Yikes. Yeah,
he's fine. I don't care about either one of those two teams. Who cares?
Oh, look at that. Grumpy.
The only thing that could have been better is if Subban would have got his skates stuck in a rut and he would have tore some ligaments there too. Then we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. No problem.
Oh, man, oh, man.
Both anything to
Rangers. Both the Rangers and Devils players getting hurt. And the crazy thing, it would have been better if then Alexander Ovechkin tripped on a banana peel walking into the stadium too. D-Cut saying BP Brian Posner in the house.
There's no freaking A in that. There's no N in that word.
Brian Pauser. Sorry, Grump. Sorry, Brian is better. And he said, I was hold.
He was on hold with Mad Dog Radio. Had to make my Yankee point before I joined the show.
Mad Dog Radio.
That was because the Yankees, manager, GM, all be jettisoned. Team needs to be rebuilt into something that could actually be a winner. Right now, they're not there.
Robin Stewart saying, hello, ladies. Hi from
Hello, ladies.
Scott L said, 13 straight on the road to start the year. That will be 13 less games that they have to play on the road towards the end of the year. It's also one way to look at it.
Yeah, I would feel better, honestly, if we were playing in the Coliseum this year. Why? Because I don't know if we're going to have the same home ice advantage that we had at the Coliseum in the new building, at least not to start. So that's all I have to say.
You think so?
I don't know. No one knows. We've never played there before.
They've got it where it's extremely low extremely low ceiling. So, hey, they said the noise is going to be crazy.
Well, but we don't know. We don't know.
What?
We don't know.
I think it's safe to assume that that's accurate. I think the scientists
Okay.
that stuff
Go
out.
ahead. Go ahead. You make all those assumptions as usual. I actually wait for some data to come in. I'm like, oh yeah, what happens if we lose our first 10 games at home? Then you can say, oh boy, you know what? Yeah, we got that home ice advantage. We don't know yet. We've never played there. We don't know what it's going to be like. Was Barclays great home ice for us?
Barclay Arena.
Was it?
Honestly, okay. I can tell you, I don't remember.
Should have been the greatest thing ever, right? We played there. Oh, automatic home ice advantage.
No, the arena was designed different, Grump. Hey, Grumpy, you remember that SUV had a great viewing section from the very front row, and they sucked up about how many seats right down there along the ice?
A whole section. That was smart.
Oh, man, that stuff always drove me insane. Mike M said, shut the light off. It's distracting, damn Mr. Hyde. Oh, lucky there.
That's one birthday shot I'll let him take.
Robin Stewart also said, looking forward to see how they choose our top 25. Yeah,
it's very easy. Very easy. The same team from last year, except that we had Gustafsson and Parise. That's it. Everybody else same.
Michael T saying he's got the lighthouse. I like it, Michael. Said, hey guys, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Michael. Tony Cheese said, shout out to my boy. How do you pronounce that, Grumpy?
Huge Janice.
Huge. Oh, look at there, Grumpy. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday, Hugh. I don't know who Hugh is, but happy birthday.
Grumpy.
I wish everybody a happy birthday.
Hold on, Grumpy. Did you not pick up on that? I brought this up as a joke. Did you? I want you to read that last name to yourself one more time. Janice.
Oh, it's okay. You should have pronounced it as Janus.
I didn't pronounce it. I let you pronounce it. I was trying to ham it up, and you just read it like it was real, Grumpy.
You Janus. Okay.
There it is. Tony Cheese. I love it. You stumped the grump. Stumped the grump. Brett W said Martin is supposed to play one of the next couple of exhibition games. Bad news for Ross the boss.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how good Ross looks and how bad Martin looks, Martin's going to play. Doesn't matter because best players don't play on this team necessarily.
Andrew L said, yeah, that Reeves injury looked brutal. That's for certain, especially in a preseason game. Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. PK, you gotta as another, as Ryan Reeves later on in the season, I don't, again, like a guy like that, I'd have no respect for. He knew exactly what he was doing. And again, that's going to keep Ryan Reeves out for a bit. I know you don't care, Grumpy, because, hey, the more injuries to opposing teams that we have to face, the better. I'm just saying, if I was Ryan Reeves, I would forget that. And I'd make sure that I take any type of liberty I could against PK in the future.
He's fine. He'll be out a couple of weeks. He'll be right back ready to go. Ready to beat players up. No problem.
Michael T said, how crazy is it seeing Zdeno Chara back in an Islander sweater?
I don't think it's crazy. He looks good.
No. He's just like, how crazy, how surreal is this that, Zdeno Chara, however many 20 plus years later, or around 20 years later, is back in an Islander sweater?
It would have been, the only thing that would have been more crazy is if Yager was still playing, have him in Islanders sweater.
Maybe he can bring back
Yager. And Jaromir Yager, one pick away. Ooh.
Hold on, say that one more time, Grump?
Scott Sissons and Jaromir Yager, one pick difference.
Man, oh man.
The Islanders were always picking, like in a 5-man draft, they were picking 6. In the 4-man draft, they picked Michael Del Cole 5th. Kind of.
Yeah, it always seems to be one man away. D-Cut saying, glad to see average Anders wasn't below average last night.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him score the goal, so I can't comment on it. I'm sure he was slow as usual.
No, he was one of those where he posted up in front of the net. He got that backhander up high, I believe it was, and he scored.
That's what he does.
That is. Hey, man, that's one thing he does extremely well.
Yep. No complaints there. That's what he does. He totem poles that puck in.
Coach Tommy B saying good evening to the two gents.
What's Tommy's gone back to wearing hats, which I think is a good idea for him.
Oh man. Michael T also said, do you guys think Gustafson makes the team? I've watched 2 games. He looks pretty good to me. I think he definitely makes the team.
It helps playing the Z squad. It does, because you didn't get to see his liabilities, which is playing defense.
Well, yeah, again, like that's one of those things. So he has looked good, but as we start to play real NHL competition, and again, they're regular season games, we mentioned before, preseason is like you're warming up before a marathon, right? You could go ahead and dash all over the place, look fantastic. It's still preseason. You like to see you look loose and limber, but it's still preseason.
Yeah, I don't know why your picture's going in and out, TJ. Actually, I think it's better when you just fade to black, honestly.
Really?
Certainly for the viewers, it's better. But, you look at guys like Gustafson and, Hosang and guys like that where they're not, they're on PTOs. They're playing for their hockey lives. So good for him taking advantage. And as a 7th defenseman, I don't have an issue. My whole thing is, does he play enough defense to play on this team? That's the key, particularly with the way that it's run by Barry Trotz. You must play defense. If you're a defenseman, you have to be able to play defense. What I don't want to see is him make constant mistakes out there and Barry just poo-pooing him. Well, that's okay. And then we have a young guy like Noah Dobson make a mistake and he gets sent to the bench. Those are the things I don't want to see this year.
Dave C. also said, my separated shoulder feels a little sore.
And probably he separated that shoulder quite a while ago.
Yeah, like Varlamov feeling a little sore. Scott L said Robin Salo or Gustafson as a 7th defenseman. Who goes down to Bridgeport between the two? Because they've both had a pretty decent camp in preseason. I think Gustafson is the 7th defenseman. I think Robin Salo goes down to Bridgeport.
Yep, absolutely.
And here's the thing too.
That's not even a hard choice for them to make. As long as Gustafson could stand on his feet out there, he was going to be the 7th defenseman. You just listen to the media cartel saying how great he is, always doing this, he's doing that. It makes it easier for them to send the young player down, which is that's what they're naturally inclined to do anyway.
No, that's what
Salo could have scored 10 goals in the preseason. He was still going down.
I'll be honest with you, though. I think he does need to go down and spend about 10, 15 games in Bridgeport, kind of get acclimated to, the smaller ice surface, feel a little more comfortable. And again, I don't want to see this being a situation where he feels comfortable, he starts to produce, and then we have to leave him down there in Bridgeport unless an injury happens. Because as soon as he's ready to go and as soon as he's showing production in Bridgeport, he feels comfortable on the ice surface, smaller ice surface. That needs to be the guy who say, all right, Z, all right, Andy Green, hey, man. We love you guys. You're vets. We get it. But, hey, this guy's chomping at the bit, man. He's ready to come on in there. If we're not producing, and if I see any bit of like a slack or, a little bit of a step backwards in your game, hey, this young guy's ready to take a step in. They're not going to do that. They never do with the veterans, but I'm just saying. It'd be nice to see.
Is this the first time you've ever watched this team under Barry Trotz? We're not going to see Robin Salo unless we have a glut of injuries. We're not going to see Robin Salo this year. You saw him in the preseason. Back to the minors, that's where you can spend the whole year. That's my prediction. Mark it down now, unless we have a boatload of injuries to left-handed defensemen. No shot of him playing on the big team this year. None. And they might even play Hickey over him anyway. He doesn't play young players. Doesn't do it.
Robin Salo is not a young player, though.
He's young to this organization. He hasn't played in the NHL before.
Yeah. Again, he's 22. He's going to be 23 years old to start the season.
Yeah, he's young. The rest of the Islanders are in the mid-30s. He's like one of their children.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Zdeno could be his father.
I guess he could, but Mike M. also saying hockey players that never, ever divulge their true injury. That is true.
That is true, because when Mike Montemurro was playing hockey, he had a traumatic brain injury. And, well, he didn't divulge that, but everyone could see it.
Robin Stewart also said, watching lots of junior hockey here. These kids are fast and skilled.
Must not be looking at our team then.
Oh, Brian P. said, TJ, you don't have to worry about goaltending. You could suit up and have a 915 save percentage in this system.
It's system. Like I said, I don't think Varlamov – that's why Varlamov injury is – who cares? He's a solid goalie, but that's all he is. Sorokin is so much better. I mean, it's not even funny, honestly.
And then Tommy B also said Gustafson has been better than Salo in camp.
There he goes. There's your boy Tommy Baffy towing that company line. Knew he would.
I just wonder if he got the inside scoop beforehand.
Sure, they had that. He's had that information for as soon as that came out. He went through Lou's garbage can. Gustafson, starter. Salo, who?
Oh man, I'm glad you picked up on it. God's a grumpy old man. Dave C. also said Hosang back in the AHL. You think first line or back to the fourth line in Bridgeport, or back to the fourth line like in Bridgeport? Does he still have a chance?
Absolutely guarantee he plays on one of the top two lines for the Toronto Marlies. Guaranteed. They're not stupid like the Islanders. They're not going to try to punish a young player who could benefit the team. Why would you do that? It's idiotic. That's why Lou Lamoriello did it. Played him on the fourth line, him and his buddy Thompson, and Fredo, the GM down there. Fredo Lamoriello.
Oh man, yeah, they could find any way to put skill players on the bottom two lines to punish them. If playing in the A wasn't punishment enough.
It's just dumb. It's just dumb. What does Hosang bring to the table? Skill. He brings skill and creativity. So what are you going to do if you're the Islanders? You put him in the minors on the fourth line because we need to turn you into a grinder. Ugh. Talk about an absolute colossal blunder and failure.
Dave C. also said, shout out to my wife, Joey. I'll have her watch this. It's her birthday and our anniversary.
You know what, Dave? I'm going to tell you what. I'm really disappointed in you and your poor wife, Joey. I bet that you planned to marry her on her birthday so you could save and cheap out on an extra present.
Hey, smart man. Smart man, Dave. Dave seems smarter and smarter the more I get to know him, Grump.
Yeah, Joey's learning some things right now. Sorry, Joey. My condolences.
Scott L. said 8 p.m.-ish.
That's true. And you want to hear the funny thing? TJ said, and Dave will appreciate this, I want to get on the podcast a half an hour early today, so we can set up the microphone. And I said, okay, 7:30, I'm ready to go. When do I hear from TJ? 2 minutes after 8.
I sent you this invite 10 minutes ahead of time.
I already opened up the floodlight. I already hooked that up, but I couldn't get the microphone to set up. So now we're going to have to do that after. And TJ thinks I want to hang out with him like after the show. That's not the case. Absolutely not the case. So, but here's the thing. I was ready a half an hour early and still 50 minutes late. What can I tell you?
Oh, goodness. Tommy B saying, when is TJ coming to UBS? I don't know. I don't know if I'm coming to, maybe I'll make it to a game in Nashville or one of those road games there. Maybe the Dallas Stars. I don't know. Maybe I'll make it to a game somewhere in the, central time zone. But I don't know if I'm making it to UBS this year. Maybe for one of those games. But did you see how expensive those, the inaugural game tickets were, Grumpy? Ooh.
I did not. And my answer to Tommy was probably when he clears up his UTI. He'll have a shot at UBS.
Oh, look at that. Frank K said Sorokin thrived when he played more last year. He got better the more he played.
There you go.
Yep. Michael T also said the Hosang story is definitely going to be intriguing to watch. That's the same thing I look at because I obviously root for the guy's success. I'll be watching for it. And again, even if it's not with us, I've always feel like the guy, any type of player the Islanders have, I want to see be successful wherever they go.
Yeah, I root for him. I always root for the underdog, honestly. And what, TJ, put your finger on.
There's one player I don't want to see successful where he is. One player.
I know, John Tavares, because you're still butthurt over him.
Hey, it's the how he left and what he did and how disingenuous.
Okay, why don't you again explain? Give us 20 minutes on why you're not butthurt.
If you have 15 minutes to listen, I've got a chance to go on a monologue here, Grump.
So I root for the underdog. John Tavares is not an underdog. He was certainly treated poorly by the Islander organization, so I'm rooting for him. That's why I'm rooting for Kiefer Bellows. I'm rooting for Bodie Wild. All the guys who've been screwed by, the big wigs in the Islander organization. I root for them, and I wish them success.
Scott L. said, put some shades on, Grumpy, to block the light.
I might actually wear sunglasses for the next podcast.
No need to wear sunglasses. If you want to
I'm
see your
wearing
face.
different sunglasses every time.
You have that many sunglasses?
No, but maybe people forget.
Oh, goodness gracious. And Michael T said, Grumpy's acting like he's got a cactus up his butt. That's when we first started. And you're getting used to the light, Grumpy. I was about to say, you seemed a little like robotic, Grumpy, at first. Now you seem like you've been indoctrinated to it. Now you feel normal.
I don't know, but I want to know how Michael knows what a cactus up a butt feels like.
That's a good question, Michael. I don't know. You're going to have to provide a little context to that. Frank K said, Sorokin's save on Malkin in the clinching game is etched into my mind.
Yeah, Varlamov doesn't make that save. Robin Leonard doesn't make that save. Thomas Greiss doesn't make that save. Sorokin does. Why? Because he's so athletically gifted in net. He's able to make saves that the other guys can't. We're a team, I've said it before, not 100 times, probably 98, that a good goalie is going to look really good in our system, but an excellent goalie is going to look spectacular. And that's the way Sorokin's going to be for us. No doubt in my mind.
Absolutely, Grumpy. Alexander said, good evening, guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing good.
Always a pleasure, Alexander.
Absolutely, absolutely. Michael M said, look at these two beautiful faces. What's up, Michael M? Right back at you.
Look at Michael. He's got a new little picture there. He's got some type of lower face growth. Not the mustache thing, though. Interesting. Very interesting. He looks pensive.
He's thinking. And he also said, shout out to Isles Misery. I hope you all are healthy and doing well.
I beat you to the punch.
Absolutely. D-Cut said, Frank K is singing the national anthem at UBS opening night. Congratulations, Frank.
I don't think that's true. Maybe out in the parking lot, but who knows? Now, I'll be watching for it. I'll tell you that much.
I want to ask you about this. Now, did you hear yesterday in the telecast, every time Zdeno Chara had a slap shot or a shot on net, like, oh man, Zdeno Chara's got a huge, powerful shot. Does he still have the same shot? When I was watching again, I don't have like one of those shot clocks out there where I could see how quick it's going, or one of those, for pitches, they measure how quick it is. I don't have a way to determine how fast that slap shot was, but it didn't necessarily look like he was peppering those shots from the point, looking like it was 100. Every shot was 100 miles an hour. I think those days are well behind in Zdeno Chara's past. I mean, he's still got a pretty powerful shot, but not the way they were describing it on the telecast yesterday.
What's funny is you always see the preseason team pumping up the new acquisitions. It's just a shame that our new acquisition is 44 years old. I'm just saying.
Again, he looked good in the little bit I saw him yesterday. That's all I'm going to say. He's not going to be fantastic, but he's what you expect out of a 44-year-old defenseman.
Stop gushing over him. As long as he's serviceable and Dobson learns from him, he served his purpose.
Michael T said, Charlie didn't shoot it. He swung at it and he just batted it over the glass like a foul ball. It wasn't like off the stick of his tape or anything.
That was Chara.
Chara, yeah.
Oh, so now he's going to be called Charlie? Okay.
No, it got changed, Grumpy.
I'd rather go with Charlie Chara as opposed to Big Z. I don't want to hear Big Z the whole year. I don't want to hear it.
Oh, Butchie's. What do you think Butchie's going to call? Butchie's got to call him Big Z. He's going to mess up the name a million times. Even though he coached Chara, he's going to mess that name up somehow.
Just go with Chara.
Chari. Maybe they'll call him something like that. Yeah, Charzy.
That's Barzy.
E. They add an E on the name of the last.
Wally. Like I said, it's like my kids naming their pets. Froggy the frog, Catty the cat, Doggy the dog, Hermie the hermit crab. Just, I'm like, what lack of originality and creativity.
Oh, man. Oh, goodness gracious. Frank K said, great. Now they're going to revoke my season tickets after they hear my crappy voice. Oh, Frank K.
I don't know if you heard some of those people who sing.
Oh, they do a good job.
I'm sure you're just as good as they are, Frank.
Alexander said, it's a shame that it's looking more and more like Wallstrom will be in Bridgeport at the beginning of the season.
Right. So how do they prep the Islander fans? Oh, he's not having a good preseason. This way they can send him down. Why? He's talented. Has Leo Komarov had a great preseason? Has Matt Martin? Why not send them down?
Matt Martin hasn't had anything in the preseason so far.
Why not put him on waivers? You think there's a long line for 33-year-old fourth wing grinders making $1.5 million a year? I'm going to say no. And if you lose him, so what? You got Ross Johnson, who's just as good, if not better. Who cares if you lose Matt Martin? You know what? There'll be some cries from the women in the new building, but that's about it.
Well, hey, as long as he's up there in the stands, maybe he'll get more FaceTime with the ladies, and maybe that'll actually be better.
Well, if he gets picked up on waivers from another team.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was looking at the next comments, Grump, and I half tuned in. I apologize. Michael M. saying Grumpy should do the national anthem followed by a Sinatra encore.
You know what? I do know all the words to the national anthem, but I have to say my voice isn't what it used to be.
Oh, man.
I can't hit the high notes anymore. Just can't do it.
Could you ever hit the high notes, Grumpy?
Yes, I could. All right. Enough of your snide comments.
Okay. Robin Searle said Otto Koivula played timid. Yeah. You know, like when I say that people play out there with a purpose, people play like, they play more confident in their game. The guy looks like, and again, maybe he has confidence. He doesn't necessarily exude that on the ice. He didn't exude it on the ice when I was watching.
I think a better way that Robin could have described that says Otto K played like Josh B. That's what he should have said.
Oh,
timid, soft, weak.
Dave C said, if you aren't going to make the shirts, I might design someone send you the shop link. It doesn't take more than 2 hours to make it all happen.
Let me tell you something, Dave. Dave, let me tell you something. You and Joey, I'm going to tell you something. I told TJ what to do. He refuses to take my input.
Hey, Grumpy, as I told you before, we're hiring professionals who make the designs and logos who do that for a living. That's who we're getting, Grumpy, to go ahead and do this for us. I knew I couldn't live up to the standard, and I didn't want to have any type of merchandise when someone said, oh, man, this is crummy. TJ and Grumpy, old man, I don't like it.
As long as your face is not on a T-shirt, it can't be bad.
Oh, thank you. And then Scott L saying, TJ going, Macho Man Randy Savage, that gravel voice.
The Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh, yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Frank K also said, Grumpy Man's going to be mad at me, but I got a Palmieri jersey.
Oh, for what? For what? Kindling? Oh.
Where the games, Grumpy? He's wearing that when he sings.
Frank has too much money. Frank's got too much money if he's buying a Palmieri jersey.
Hey, he might like Kyle Palmieri. What can I say?
I feel like Al Pacino in Godfather Part 2. Frank, if you buy that Palmieri jersey, you're going to disappoint me.
Alexander said the top line is already set. That for certain it is. And then Tommy B said, who told you all Palmieri was brought here to play with Barzal and Lee? You know who. And maybe you said that there at the trade deadline. I'll tell you one thing. In the offseason, I knew that was going to happen. That's why all those people who are pontificating what happens if Oliver Wahlstrom is thrown in there as a first-line right winger. Maybe he's going to be given a chance. We knew he would be given no shot. None.
I mean, I didn't even need to go through the garbage to know that was happening.
Michael M. said Otto Koivula was touted by the Islanders media cartel as a bottom six center, not on this planet.
Wow. He's not even good enough to play on this planet.
Oh, man.
That's your boy he's talking about. He's talking mad smack about your boy.
I know. Grumpy, I'm going to let you run with this question.
God, here we go. TJ's got to go to the bathroom. Dude, you need to go to a doctor and find out what the hell's wrong with you.
Michael T said, hey, Grumpy, who's a better guitar player, Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan? I'll be right back, Grump. I figure this is one that you could probably talk about for a few seconds.
Yeah, I can. I certainly can. I like Stevie Ray Vaughan better than Jimi Hendrix. I know it's probably sacrilege, but I like Jimmy Page best of all. I just like the blues sound of Stevie Ray Vaughan. Hendrix was good. I kind of like him because he was left-handed and I'm left-handed. But dead at 27, who knows what he could have been, honestly. And Vaughn died young too. But I always liked Stevie Ray Vaughan. Wound up fighting back from drug addiction, died in a helicopter crash where Jimmy didn't make it out of his drug addiction and it wound up killing him. Sad times. But I'm a big Zeppelin guy, so I'm going to go with Jimmy Page. But if you just give me those two, I'm going to go Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's just the way I feel on that. Now, while TJ's away, let's see if we can discuss some other things like his total lack of hair. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but it's really starting to flag up there. I don't know what his wife thinks about it. I know that we were supposedly get some Rogaine commercials out of it, but TJ hasn't done anything on that. All they need to look at him and know, hey, this is a guy we could help. But so far, no one really cares. So, it kind of is what it is at this point, but that's okay. All I care about is the season that's going to go on. Oh, it looks like TJ's back. I don't know what he's heard, what he hasn't heard, but you can see by what he looks like, I wasn't joking.
Grumpy, all I can say is I'm glad I'm listening to you take a shit on my hair, Grumpy. Thank you so very much. I can make sure that I still had it playing so I could hear what happened. So when I came back, I didn't miss a beat. Glad to hear, Grumpy. You couldn't stretch out long enough and had to take a cheap shot of my hair. Thank you.
It was easy, the layup.
Oh, thank you. Brian P said, I'd much rather have Bellows and Wallstrom with Pajot instead of Parise and Ponick. Right? They pronounce it Ponick. But 87 years old will always get spots over talented youth.
It's 87-year-olds.
I'm sorry. 87-year-olds. I'm sorry, Grumpy.
Yeah, I'm 100% in agreement. That's if you want to break the young guys in on the third line, I'm fine with it. When are you ever going to break a young guy into the lineup? I mean, I don't know. It's frustrating. I feel your pain, Brian. I really do.
Absolutely. Hey, Grump, moving right along. Robin Stewart said, this is the best team. This is the best team in a few years. Competition at every position.
What?
I don't agree with that.
What team is he talking about?
I believe there's
not talking about the Islanders because there's no competition for spots here. None. Absolutely no competition for any spot. No competition. Competition, zero. Robin, I can't disagree with you more.
Michael M said Otto Koivula is the worst skater in the Islanders organization, and we have Zdeno.
Oh,
I was about to say, man, come on, Michael.
No, it's Chara. It's Chara.
I was about to say, Frank Halson said, Ponick sucks. Yeah, we're not going to be seeing him in an everyday role. That is for certain. And Alexander also said, you see Bellows and Parise and Pajot would be a perfect line.
Then where are you going to play Wallstrom? See, that's the whole thing. He, no spot for Bellows. That's why they brought in Parise. He's automatically. Why didn't they just give him a PTO? Let's see. You were a healthy scratch the last 10 games of the year for the useless Minnesota Wild. Let's bring you in for a PTO. See if you got anything left in the tank.
I believe there would have been an offer. Somebody may have offered him like league vet minimum, probably no incentives, incentives or anything like that. But we offered him incentives.
You're right, because there's a huge market for 37-year-olds who can't play on a crappy Minnesota team. You're right. I'll agree with you there. Right. No shot. There was no market for Zach Parise. His mother won't even let him go home Sunday dinner.
Oh,
no invitations.
Robin Stewart said, maybe Bellows. He looked good in a small sample size.
Doesn't matter. No shot. Zero. He's going to be the new Josh Hosang. They'll string him along until his contract, till he's an unrestricted free agent. Then he'll go somewhere else and produce.
Alexander saying Arthur Staple and Pierre Maguire were the ones telling us how great Leo Komarov is. Hey, I'll never stop mentioning it because anytime I try to see that, I could never take that image out of my head talking about how great Leo Komarov was. I'm just going to parrot exactly what I'm told to say. Come on.
Well, that's what certainly Pierre did. He friends with Lou and stuff like that. So, that's what they told him. And he just carries their water. It's funny. He's working with Ottawa Senators this year. So be interested to see how they go. I like Pierre Maguire, though. I do. I know a lot of people hate him, but I still like him.
Robin Stewart said, Grumpy still hates watching hockey in July. He still hates the Islanders in July.
Well, it's October now. So I don't know. Robin, where have you been all summer?
He's saying even in the offseason, even the very beginning of the offseason, you still hate watching hockey.
That's not true. I love watching hockey.
Oh, Grumpy.
I disagree with that statement.
Bad news, Grumpy. There were some comments lost. I apologize. There were some comments. They have been lost.
You know what? You're going to have to start hitting the comments a little bit earlier. Maybe sprinkle them in with our conversation.
Oh, Grumpy. I do.
No one wants to hear you talk about whatever it is that you blather on about anyway. No one.
Michael T said, "Is there any chance the Islanders are grooming Sorokin for a big trade eventually for the offense? Their system can make an average goalie a superstar. A superstar system can make an average goalie a superstar."
No. I know that's a real simple no way.
Yeah.
No way. They didn't go through what they went through for years and years to try to get Sorokin here to trade him. Now, I could see the moving Varlamov. I could see that happening.
I can as well.
To a team that needs a goaltender down the stretch, an injury for a playoff contender, perhaps. I would have no problem at all moving him for a first-round pick or a second-round pick, whatever you could get for him. Makes $5 million per. Move on from him, no problem.
Brian, we know we didn't talk about Grumpy.
No.
Didn't talk about those. Now, did you happen to see what happened with Robin Lehner in the comments and everything like that? And then Alain Vigneault came out and responded, and Robin Lehner kind of clarified what was going on or what he had said. It seems like a real odd situation. Again, because he's accusing, long story short, just to give the synopsis, it's all over news. It's all over everywhere in the NHL news. He is essentially accusing organizations for giving prescription drugs without, individuals and hockey players seeing a doctor or a psychiatrist for these prescription drugs. And a tweet right after that happened to have Alain Vigneault spoken in a negative light, and people were, coming to the end conclusion that Alain Vigneault and the Philadelphia Flyers might be doing something like that. He responded and he apologized. Robin Lehner, like, "Oh, I didn't mean to say that, or I didn't mean to, imply that he was giving prescription drugs, to individuals without a doctor or a psychiatrist." So it's a lot of back and forth. He talked with the NHL, Grumpy, but it's one of those items that are quite odd.
So he backed off his attack on Alain Vigneault?
I don't know. Maybe, again, like everybody read it the same exact way because Alain Vigneault, and again, I'll let you listen to it, Grumpy. I think it's a very odd situation because, if there are teams that are actually giving prescription drugs without players seeing the doctor or the psychiatrist, that's an issue. Do I think that's happening? I have no earthly idea because
I guarantee you it's happening. It happens in all sports. Those things happen. They do.
Well, I'll let you listen to this little clip here for Alain Vigneault.
AB, Robin Lehner said some inflammatory things about you and the Flyers yesterday. Would you like to respond to that?
Well, I don't know the young man. Two things he said about me were I was a dinosaur. I consider myself experienced. Dinosaur, when you could say it with experience, you become a dinosaur maybe. But I do know I've been coaching a few years, and I am tough, I am demanding, but I care about my players. I want their best. Through the years, probably there's some guys that have liked me, some other guys maybe a little bit less. But I've done it with the best intention, with respect, and like I said, I don't know the young man that said that. So as far as the other thing, me pushing pills, I don't need another income. I have no idea where that comes from. I don't know what else to say. I have no idea.
Yeah. So, grumpy old man. It's an odd situation. I'll be interested to see kind of how things continue to transpire.
I don't understand why Robin Lehner did what he did. I still don't understand it.
Here's the thing: if true, I'd like ideally people to come forward with those type of items because that's not how things should be done. But I haven't seen him. He said he spoke with the NHL. Hopefully, they're getting everything sorted on that side. I don't think the remaining portions of this are going to be as public as the first statement was, but it's definitely something we'll be keeping an eye on. That's for certain. And again, as you're doing something like this, hopefully a few things. Obviously, hopefully he was able to release everything he needed to the NHL, and now I could start focusing back on hockey. And the NHL is going to take proper action for whatever type of misconduct, if there was any, going forward.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care enough about this subject to even discuss it. I just don't.
Fair enough, guys. Fair enough, Grumpy. Robin Stewart also said Bruins have 10 guys over the age of 30.
What do we have? 12, 13? I don't know. More than that.
Yeah, the Bruins, they do.
And what do people say about the Bruins? Oh, man, they're old. They're long in the tooth. They're finished. But somehow we're getting better. I don't know. You figure it out.
Oh, man. Grumpy old man. Michael T also saying, being that the Islanders system, oh goodness, I think I already read that one. But yes, we do not think that's going to be the case. Scott L also said, not much of a loss on the power play with pass happy Letty.
True. And it was mostly when Letty was on the power play with Bailey. That was a disaster. Just a disaster.
And Jeff Sobel also said here, why not Ryan Pulak on the power play? Here's the thing. If he worked on the slap shot and he could say, yes, he comes into camp and he's hitting the net with more consistency, sure, throw him out there, because ideally, if he's able to hit the net, his slap shot is able to create other chances and opportunities in loose pucks as he shoots so hard. But, hey, we've always said, take 5 miles an hour off the slap shot, put it on net more consistently, and you're going to be a much more successful power play player.
I just think the problem with the Islanders power play, particularly when Pulak was up top occasionally and Letty, too slow. The passing was too slow. And Ryan Pulak was certainly one of those guys. Dobson was earlier in the season really quick with his passes, and then somehow they slowed him down. Maybe that's the Barry Trotz system. Let's see if we can put them to sleep before putting a puck on net, because Dobson was much quicker moving the puck earlier in the season than he was at the tail end. And Pulak's always been kind of slow up top, as was Letty. I just think quick, sharp passes are the best way to score on a power play. The Islanders don't feel that way. Maybe that's why their power play is one of the worst in the league. I don't know.
Jeremy Ford says, the creativity of Dobson at the top of the umbrella should help produce more opportunities than Letty did. Not to throw shade at Letty. He's just more predictable than Dobson. Another thing Dobson does is Dobson's not afraid to throw the puck on net from any angle, which is the reason why you'll see him score a lucky goal here or there, or getting a lucky assist because it bounces off of 2 players in front of the net and trickles to a wide open Islander, and the goalie's out of position because of the way the puck bounced.
He's got a really underrated slap shot and snapshot that he puts on net most times and creates rebounds. That's what you want from your point guy. He doesn't need to pump the puck in, but if he's creating creating scoring chances down low, that's all the better. I mean, greater chance of scoring a goal from 2 foot away as opposed from 30 away.
And Jeremy Ford said, any word on Anatoly Golashev? Is he still on the roster? Has he been sent to Bridgeport? Has he gone back to Russia? I think he's going to play in Bridgeport. I know we haven't seen him in any preseason games, but
I think he played in one preseason game, one of the early ones.
Gotcha. It's been a while, but
it doesn't matter. He's got no shot either. No.
He's going right to Bridgeport. That's for certain. Anatoly Golashev, right to Bridgeport. Michael T said, Parise said he's struggling with the system. Provide a link, Grumpy. Or I didn't.
All right. You know what? I'll have to look it up and I'll give it to TJ because I definitely saw that.
Fair enough, Grumpy. Fair enough. D-Cut said, shout out Al's Misery Rated R. The boys are representing tonight.
As always.
Absolutely. And Brian P said, Oliver Wahlstrom has to play if you want him to get better, not sit behind some old stiff.
Preaching to the choir, Brian.
Robin Stewart said, gonna change Grumpy Old Man's name to the Walking Eagle.
I don't know what that means.
I think it actually sounds kind of, I don't know, Grumpy. I don't know. And D-Cut also saying, where's the Grump juice? Oh, there it is.
You know what? Here's the thing I just wanted to mention. There's rumor going around that everyone knows when I take a drink out of my drink, I put the cap on. TJ doesn't believe in it. And here's something TJ really knows how to do, which is eat. And I heard rumors were going around from the lovely Paige that TJ was having a plate of spaghetti and managed to, since he didn't have it in a sippy container or some type of self-contained unit, he dropped it all over the floor.
I couldn't even explain what happened. I was like juggling my phone and something happened. I was standing up off the couch and I flipped the plate of, it wasn't spaghetti. It was ravioli and meatballs. And I flipped it. I couldn't recreate it if you asked me to do so. If my life depended on it, I'd be dead because I couldn't recreate it. Somehow I flipped the bowl. It was a full plate. of ravioli and meatballs all over the rug. And I'm like, Jesus, I spent 45 minutes oxy cleaning that freaking stains all over the place. Oh man, took 45 minutes. Then by the time that your food's cold, it ruined your whole evening. Oh, it was awful. There's nothing. I'm so pissed off too because I hate wasting anything. Hate wasting food like that. Ugh. I wound up with the plate upside down with the ravioli and a portion of the meatballs in my hand. Oh,
Okay, 2 questions. So the rumor that you flipped the plate off your high chair was not accurate. Is that
it wasn't
correct?
off my high chair. It was off the couch. We got out of the high chair about 2 weeks
And
ago.
number 2, did you eat the food off the floor? Because you look like an eat the food off the floor type guy.
No, I picked it up and shoveled it in the trash can.
Okay. Then how was your food cold?
Because it took me 45 minutes to clean up the red stains from the pasta sauce.
But if you dropped your food all over the floor and you threw it away, what did you eat?
I caught some of the food in my hand.
Okay.
And that's what I ate for dinner.
Okay.
Hashim K said, I like Shampoo Lou. Hey, I'm glad to hear he likes the Shampoo Lou portion.
A lot of people do.
Coach Tommy B said, Grumpy Old Man needs a makeup artist with that bright light. That is for certain he does.
Pot, meat, kettle.
Scott L also said, hey, we have players in the pipeline. They have Casper Holmstrom.
You know who we haven't heard from in a while? Dirk from Germany. You want to know why? Because Casper sucks, and even he's coming to that realization.
No, hey, it's just an odd time for him. Now the season's starting back up. Maybe he'll be staying up later watching a few Islanders games too, or waking up early to watch a few Islanders games too.
Okay, it's 4:00 in the morning in Germany right now. 4:00 in the morning.
You have that time just off the top of your head where you can get it.
I can add 6 to any time and tell you what time.
Okay, Grumpy. Sorry. Oh, sorry, Grumpy. Sorry over there.
And honestly, if you started a little bit on time, maybe he could see some of the beginning of the podcast.
Maybe he catches it on the Monday. Maybe he catches it on the morning drive into work.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's not there. Maybe he's been able to get in. Maybe he's not waking up super early to go to work. Maybe he's not on the morning shift, the 4:00 in the morning shift. Huh, Grump?
True.
Jeremy Ford also said, I'd rather get better in the season than the off season. Having been a fan of this team since '84, I'm glad Lou is running the show. He and Barry have been a blessing to this team.
True. 100% agreement. My concern is how far is this as far as you're going to go with them right now? That's my concern. I feel like we've gone as far as we're going to go, unless you make some changes, drastic changes to the players on the team. This is as far as you go, because I think that Barry has gotten the most out of the team, and Lou is working with Barry to get him the type of players that he wants. That said, are we good enough to win a cup? I don't think so.
Yeah, a few comments here real quick, and Robin Stewart provided a little bit more context to the nickname he wanted to give you. D-Cut says, hire College Quinn to coach the Bridgeport Islanders. Dump that bum though. Dump Chris dump Thompson, Brent Thompson.
Well, there's no way that they're dumping Fredo. No way.
Chris
not with Daddy Lou as GM of the Islanders. You watch, he's grooming Fredo to drop his gun in the street while he gets shot down at the end of his Islander career.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of what the hell is Bill Belichick's kid's name? Like how he's the defensive back coach for the Patriots, right? They go ahead and trade away Stephon Gilmore.
Defensive coordinator.
He's the defensive coordinator. Holy shit. Okay. He's the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. And again, jeez. Ugh. Right, Stephon Gilmore over there. It got moved for a 6th round pick to the Carolina Panthers today.
Poor asset management. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show, as well as Captain Mullet. We'll talk about him.
So Robin Stewart said, change the Grumpy Old Man's name to the Walking Eagle. And he provided more context to it. He said, because he's too full of shit to fly.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that.
I'd never heard that. And it's funny. I like it. I like that. Paul W. says, I like Chara singing.
It's funny about Robin. I'm not wrong, though. He might not like what I say, but it doesn't mean I'm wrong.
Nick D said, DJ, the shirts, man. Great show as always, guys.
That's right, Nick. I've been working with him, trying to get him to do something.
Doug R says, as soon as I can lay a bet here in Connecticut, I will be betting on the Islanders winning the cup because I believe in this team.
Well, I just hope that they don't legalize gambling in Connecticut anytime soon. I'm trying to save you some money, Doug.
Oh, Grumpy. Oh, Grumpy. Oh, man, oh, man.
Go watch a Bridgeport game. That's what you see in the NHL level with the Islanders.
Stop. You're ridiculous. Frank K said, I'm starting the happy rated G Islanders group. The soundtrack is the Woody Woodpecker theme.
I think the soundtrack theme should be Sunshine Day. You know, that old Brady Bunch song that they used to sing. Hey, everybody smiling, Sunshine Day. Everybody smiling, Sunshine Day. That's the song that most of these Islander websites should put on their podcasts. Everything's great.
Robin Stewart said loyalty shorthand for Gladhander. Okay. As a member of an Islanders media or people who talk, you should have loyalty to your team. You should not have loyalty to everything they do. You should have loyalty as in you follow, you observe what they do. But I do not have loyalty to where it comes and it affects what our opinions are when we look at items. That's not how it should be. You should be able to look at it and say, all right, I can take an objective look at it, third party look at it and say, the team's taking a step forward. The team might be taking a step backwards. Here's the reasons why. And again, like on all these media, some people do a really good job of it. Oh man, I'm gonna forget the name of it. Jerry Springer, former mayor of Cincinnati, put me on to him. I think it's NYI hockey. I can't remember, and I don't want to misquote it. But there's some sites that do a really good job of it, where they present both sides of the argument. They say, this is the way we're leaning. Here's how we can see both sides. And I think that's what we try to do. We're not going to be somebody out there who says everything is great and sunshiny and we're winning the cup and here are the reasons why. We're going to say, maybe we can win the cup. Very, very slim chance of this is the way we think it is possible. And, here are the ways that we could not win the cup. So, hey, we try to do it as objectively as possible. But Grumpy, moving right along there. D-Cut said, having trouble sleeping. So I had to re-listen to the show that Phil's Facts was on, the human ambient. Fell asleep in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, man, more shots at Phil.
D-Cut taking a cheap shot at Phil's.
I tell you what, D-Cot's got something going on with Phil.
Hey, Phil's Facts is thinking about maybe starting up a podcast he's going to do a little on and off throughout the season. I tell you, that could be a grump. What Grumpy?
Nothing.
No, I just imagine D-Cut, the comments he'll be there. But hey, I hope he does. If he wants to, I loved having Phil's Facts as a guest, Grumpy.
Yeah, I enjoyed having Phil on as well.
Absolutely. Alexander also said, I tell you guys, I love Chris King, but what's the color analyst name? Craig Pickler. I think, oh my God, he's boring.
Yeah, they're not good. Sorry. I think they do the radio.
Well, it was 2 days ago. Or 2 games ago. It was both of the guys from Talking Isles. And I was like, holy shit. Oh man. And I was just like, okay. And again, like, I don't understand why everybody has to be, I'm talking in my radio voice. Hey guys, we're talking in our radio voice. I don't get it. Like, I couldn't do that for that long.
You talk in a radio voice a lot, particularly when you're doing the ads for DraftKings. Hey, this is TJ. Hey, whether it's a clapper or a deft deflection. Hey, I'm TJ.
That's correct. I do that, Grumpy. That's right. Yeah. What do you want me to just say? Hey guys, I'd like to do a little bit of the radio voice. I think it's kind of funny. I don't do it all the time. I couldn't imagine doing that for a 3-hour-long broadcast like they do. I just couldn't imagine doing it.
Okay.
Power to them, I guess. I don't have that ability.
Maybe that's the regular voice. Maybe they go and say, hey, honey, it's great to see you again. How are the kids? Fantastic. Yeah.
Ryan P said, who needs a Zanny when you've got Phil's Facts?
Shots at Phil.
Goodness gracious. Oh, man.
You know what? I find it, nothing. Just keep going.
Robin Stewart also said, does Leo have a 1-week contract? Yeah, Leo does. So he would technically go through waivers. Again, nobody would pick him up. I don't think anybody would if you move him down there to Bridgeport. But
even if they do, that's good news for you. That's good news. He's a waste of space, waste of contract.
And then Frank Hay saying Chris King sucks. Love his passion, but annoying. And then Brian P said Chris King is a good Islanders guy, but I don't like his voice. And Greg Picard is a howdy doody.
I don't listen to them enough to even comment, honestly.
Again, like a howdy doody. Looky there.
Do you know how duty is? Do you even know what it is?
I assume that means a little bit. I don't know. What's a howdy doody?
Howdy Doody was a
I know you've told me this before. It was a TV show or something.
Kids TV show. I think it was with Buffalo Bob Smith. He was like a marionette or something, or a little puppet. And he would say, "Hey, Bob. Hey, howdy. How you doing?" That's silly stuff. Back in the late 50s, I believe 60s, early 60s.
Robin Stewart said, I think Schneider is being showcased. I just don't think he's got any value. Yeah.
Yeah, disagree. I think that they're playing him because they know that Varlamov is going to miss some time, and they want to make sure they have a viable backup.
Yep. I think that's exactly what it is. And I think the more
it's right into the age criteria. What's he, 37 as well? It's right in. Perfect.
Hey, that opening night roster, we're going to be looking mighty young. Oh, good.
They got the power bomb that they can rub on for the game.
They got the biofreeze to warm their body and their shoulders up and their knees to get out there every single game. Oh man, oh man. Yeah, and then Tommy B was saying, who wants Schneider showcased? And Robin Stewart's reasoning is that goalies are the new gold in the NHL.
There are so many goalies available who are way better than Corey Schneider at this age. I'm sorry, I just don't see that.
And yeah, Jim P also saying Schneider looks pretty shaky so far.
100% agreement.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And then Michael T said, wishing injuries on other teams is low class. I want to beat all teams with all their best players. Come on now. Hey, I look at it like this. I don't want anybody to be injured. I know Grumpy comes from the school.
I'm not asking for anybody to die, but I don't care if they get hurt or not. That's just part of sports. People get hurt all the time. I'd much rather have their team get injured than ours.
I don't think anybody was saying prayers of remorse that Anders Lee went out last year. They're like, okay, they lost a really, really talented guy. How can we beat that?
Gosh, I wish they had Anders Lee, because then we could have beat him at full strength. No.
Yeah.
No.
So again, I don't wish injuries on anybody. I don't think any of us. Maybe Grumpy. I think he says it facetiously, though. He says it in a joking manner, but I don't think Grumpy seriously is wishing injuries on anybody. Yeah.
No.
Alexander,
you don't have the moral high ground. Michael thinks he can get the moral high ground on me. It's not possible.
Because there is no ground with you, right, Grumpy? Because you're so low, there is no ground. There is no floor.
There is no floor.
Alexander said PK is one of the nicest guys in the league. I don't know. I watched that little bit. Didn't look too nice on that play. But maybe it was by accident. Maybe it was.
Yeah, I don't think he went in there intent to injure.
I thought his foot looked up. His skate blade was off the ground significantly. And when people are cutting into the boards, I don't know too many people who stick their foot up, and as they come gliding into the boards on one skate with another one with the toe of their skate blade pointed to the sky.
To me, the biggest issue I have with PK Subban is he's more interested in the PK Subban brand than he is in playing hockey.
Hey, man, he's got his own podcast too. Don't forget.
So I've heard.
Yeah, I get it, Grumpy.
But he's all about pushing his own brand. He had the same problems in Montreal. It is what it is. I just don't think he's that good.
Jer Ben says, not gonna lie, dude, that bit about Pulak netting a deal with Safe Class is freaking hilarious. Y'all gotta revisit that joke.
That's easy. That was an easy one too.
And Michael T said the Islanders had a great record in Barclays. That's what I was about to say, Grumpy. I have no idea what their record in Barclays was, but I didn't think it was all that terrible. But maybe it didn't have the same advantage. The atmosphere for the fans weren't there. Maybe that could be it.
That's what I'm talking about. The atmosphere, put you over the top when you need it.
Gotcha, Grumpy. Absolutely. Yeah. And then Frank also said, record-wise, the Islanders were great at Barclays. That's what I said. I couldn't remember if they were. Grumpy, look at you. Hey, they got you, Grump. They got you. Just like when I said that one time that Matt Barton played on a penalty kill, and everybody was like, hell no, he does not play on a penalty kill. I saw it.
First of all, I don't think I said they had a poor record at Barclays. I said, what was their record at Barclays? I believe is what I said.
Hey, Frank also said, great food by Barclays, too.
That I heard.
You can't beat the good eating. That is for certain. Alexander said, looking forward to seeing our boys take the ice versus the Panthers October the 16th.
And Alexander, you could snake right down to the front row there.
Because there's so few fans.
There's nobody. I've never seen a team with less fans in the lower bowl than the Florida Panthers. Every single game, like no one. I won't say no one, but just like, okay, what is this, like an hour before game time? No one's here.
Scott Ellis said it was Ole Krupp's fault.
Yui
Krupp's fault, grumpy old man. When he was with Buffalo scoring in overtime versus Pittsburgh, moving the Islanders to pick number 5 instead of 4 in the 1990 draft.
So there you go. But here's the thing. We would have messed up Yager anyway, so it didn't matter.
Ole Krupp, the gift that keeps on giving. No, there's no – okay. Yager he was impossible to have been messed up. The guy's success, I'm sorry, no.
Okay, he would have been good, but he would never have achieved the success that he achieved with Pittsburgh. Never.
Okay, I agree with that, but he still would have been outstanding. That's a guy. You look at some talents; it doesn't matter what organization. He could have been drafted by the Buffalo Sabres as of now, and he still would have been a successful player.
Just think about how bad we were back then. I mean, he would have been. Ziggy Palfrey was really good too, right? But imagine if he played, the majority of his prime years on a good team like Pittsburgh, he would have been even better. Way better.
Yeah, no denying that. No denying that. And Tommy B said, choosing players based on preseason is not a wonderful idea in most cases. I look at it like this. Preseason is a chance to showcase, some of the players that are maybe you're looking at later on down to the year where you think might have a chance. And again, if somebody comes out, like their hair's lit on fire and they look excellent. Hey, it's worth taking another look at a guy like that. Might not immediately earn you a spot, but if you come out there and have a fantastic preseason and the spots are up for grabs, that's when you give them a chance. But other than that, you don't really always take too much in the preseason. But hey, when a guy comes out and looking the way Devon Taves did, 3 seasons ago in preseason, that guy deserved a shot right out of camp.
I bet you if you looked at the Islanders Inquirer 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever Lou and Barry first came in their first year, you would have heard how great Lucas Spiza looked in the preseason. Because that's just what they do. Whoever is the guy that Lou and Barry gush about and is going to make the team because they're old, they follow that company line.
Brian P. said, Grumpy, Tomasino scored the overtime winner last night, and of course, Holmstrom still sucks. I'm telling you, Phil Tomasino is going to put up points in droves. I'm telling you, McMichael's going to put up points in droves. I think Kaliev's going to put up points again. He's a natural scorer. All 3 of those guys. I mean, they're ready to take a step into the NHL this year. Tomasino will play for the Nashville Predators at some point this year. McMichael will play for the Washington Capitals at some point this year, and Kaliev will play for the Kings at some point in time this year, for certain, no doubt about it. And where's Simon Holmstrom? Buried down there in Bridgeport, and will be in Bridgeport for years to come.
So you're saying that those 3 guys are going to score in droves, and I say that Holmstrom's going to be picking oranges in groves.
Gonna be an orange picker. Fair enough, Grumpy.
That joke would have worked better if you would have just not on and on and on and on, where I had to repeat that. But it is what it is.
You got Da Beha is saying nighttime worker here live for the first time. Thank you.
Welcome.
Love it. Tony Cheese said Grumpy wished Hugh, our friend, a happy birthday with such sincerity. I almost feel like a bad person.
No, don't feel bad. Do not feel bad. You got me. That's cool. No problem there.
Oh, goodness.
Enjoy it. You should.
You could see the frown on TJ's face when Grumpy brings up Isles Misery Rated R.
You notice it too. D-Cut notices. He knows.
And now it's just like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think it makes it even funnier if I continue to do that. Da Biha also says Salo down for the first dozen a game, and then he makes his debut. I hope that's the case, but what I think is realistically going to happen is Salo will be down there for at least half of the year, and unless injury happens, he might spend the entire year in Bridgeport. Doesn't matter how well he plays in Bridgeport, could average a point a game, could look like the best defenseman that Bridgeport has seen in years and years since Devon Taves. Unless an injury happens, we're not seeing him.
Barring injuries, don't expect Salo on the big team. Not going to happen.
Tommy B said sending Robin Salo to play first pair of minutes at Bridgeport for 20 or 30 games is smart. Helps him get ready to play this system. I agree. But the crazy thing is, unless an injury happens, you will not see Salo. Doesn't matter how well he plays in Bridgeport. And that's the thing that always
No shot.
kind of
No
rubs me the wrong way.
At least a year in Bridgeport. Maybe even part of next year, too. That's the way they operate here.
Robin Stewart said, well, that's the thing. Salo won't score 10 goals in 10 years. He's still green and only has 2 tools.
You know, Robin's a little feisty today. I bet that he does score 10 goals in 10 years.
I probably less than 10 years, that's for certain.
Absolutely. And then I'm going to call Robin out on that.
He also said he is and Grumpy, I'll let you take this.
No, he's not. He's not a plotting defensive defenseman. He's certainly not that.
I was about to say, I saw the offensive ability, and again, he's got the vision. He's got good crisp pass. He's got vision. He also throws the puck towards the net. I think we might be wrong on that. We have a difference of opinion on that one.
Maybe he's thinking Tommy Salo used to play goalie for the Islanders at 40-something years old. You know, maybe he's playing defense now.
John P. said, Sorokin, the difference.
You know what? That's the name. Remember we were looking for a nickname for him? The difference is the kind of nickname that could stick. If he plays with the difference is a good nickname. That's good. Remember I said when I heard it, I know that's the nickname. If he plays well this year, the difference. I like it. The difference. That's good.
Look at that, Grumpy.
I'm
writing down more names, more shirt ideas, Grumpy.
Oh my God.
Oh, and then Michael M says Lou Lamorido.
Yeah, I messed up his name.
I know, Grumpy. Oh, look at that.
All right. It's all right. Take shots. That's all right. It's early in the season. It's preseason for me too.
Tommy B said Hosang will play the first third of the season for the Marlies, and then you'll see. And then we'll see.
Here's the thing. You got to remember Tommy being the garbage man for Lou Lamoriello. Knows some things. He knows that he was sabotaged, and Tommy knows that he was sabotaged by average Anders Lee and the Islanders organization. He knows deep down. He knows. He just won't tell you about it, but we know.
Well, this is a question that's always been burning me up too about Tommy. Now, is he just the garbage man? He is specifically Lou Lamoriello's garbage man. Like he'll come into the center, he'll come into the team facilities just to clean Lou Lamoriello's garbage can.
No, also like the ticket reps and all that stuff. He's a the laboratories.
I like it. I like it better if he's just Lou Lamoriello's specific garbage man.
He's not that important.
Oh, look at that. I was trying to give okay, fair enough. Jared Ben also said Fredo Lamoriello, laughing my ass off. Grumpy, do you remember my Lumerto Godfather meme?
Yes, yes, I do. Yes, I do. But he is Fredo. It's Fredo Lamoriello without a doubt.
Oh,
Fredo.
Robin Stewart said, oh God, can't believe he's still beating the Hosang drum. The kid, he's even a decent minor leaguer.
He was never given a shot here. That's the problem. Never given a real shot.
He is a, you talk about a good AHL player. The guy scores about 0.6, 0.7 points a game. And remember, he's putting up those numbers for the miserable Bridgeport Sound Tigers, one of the worst teams. The last 2 years, dead last in scoring. Don't even get me started on the Bridgeport Sound Tigers and Brent Thompson. Dead last in scoring the last 2 years in a row in the AHL. Dead freaking last.
They want to model themselves after the Islanders big team.
Don't even get me started on a Bridgeport Sound Tigers sometimes. Coach Tommy B said, Hosang could do great in Toronto. No defense required and no discipline required.
I don't know. At least they care about him.
Oh, hey, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Alexander saying, TJ, come down to Florida.
TJ was just in Florida recently. Were you not?
I was just in Florida.
Nice tan.
Hey, do I look like I got some color on me, Grumpy?
No, you look like
I look just as pale as when I went.
You look pasty faced.
Oh man. Oh goodness gracious. And then John P said, it ain't the way I wanted it. I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like
smart. It's like I'm smart.
I'll let you do this one, Grump, because you do it well.
It ain't the way I wanted it. I can handle things. I'm smart. Not like everybody says, like dumb. I'm smart, and I want respect. And then Michael goes to him, is there anything else you can tell me about what's going on? You just see Fredo, I mean, what great acting by John Cazale. Just fantastic acting where he, it took everything he could to get tough and to be forceful. And Michael just diffused him and he just slumped back into that. Great, great, great movie, Godfather Part 2. And that was a spectacular scene. And John Cazale left us way too early. He was in 5 movies. They were all nominated for Best Picture Academy Award. And he was a really, really good actor. Really good.
Andrew L. said, Yachty and Wayno working at Magic right now.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means either. Maybe Yachty and Molina and Adam Wainwright. I have no idea. It's been a long time. I'm not sure what those names mean.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. For Cardinals are playing the Dodgers, right? Everybody say, Dodgers. I keep on telling you, St. Louis won like 19 out of the last 21 games. Watch out. They're hot.
Ty B said Sorokin could be an all-star goalie here. I'll take you one step further. If he's a Grumpy, you know what I'm about to do?
Here's the thing. I'm going to just.
You know what I'm about to do, Grumpy?
I know exactly what you're going to do. I'm just going to agree with Tommy on that.
You know what I'm about to do, Grumpy? What I'm about to do?
Oh, I'm sorry. His name is Thomas Baffy now. He thinks he's important. Ooh.
No. This is a different account. And the funny thing was in the comments, they're asking, is this Thomas Baffy related to Tommy Baffy guy I know?
If he took the hat off, you'd know.
And they said, yeah, the Tommy Baffy's guy's got a tad bit more hair now. But Grumpy, do you know what I'm about to do with Sorokin? If he's able to live up to true expectations?
Yeah, I know what you're going to do.
Okay. I won't
Just
even
do it.
You know, Grumpy.
I know.
Michael T said, do you guys think there's any chance a cactus up the butt feels comfortable?
No, I do not.
I have to assume no.
But I don't know, Michael. It seems like
I'm not willing to try it out. If some other brave soldiers willing to let us know, hey, good.
Maybe if you got a really, really bad case of hemorrhoids and it's itchy, maybe that will work. I don't know.
John Smith said, let's hope Snyder doesn't get too many starts. His puck handling is atrocious. That is for certain. Last night, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he looked really unsure with saving shots that were up, clearing the pucks out from in front of the net. I didn't think he looked sharp. But our defense, as usual, was really, really sound back there. And it helped playing against, the Flyers ECAHL team. So
yeah, that it did. Tommy also said the thing about Trotz's defensive system is sometimes it helps shore up defenseman's mistake. Yeah, I do agree with that. It does help a little bit, but it's not like it'll change a guy who's a liability on the defensive side to being, the next Bobby Orr.
No. I mean, everyone was complaining about Nick Leddy last year. Oh gosh, he was terrible in defensive zone. He was light years better than Gustafsson. But Gustafsson's your number 7 defenseman. I mean, there's going to be a drop off there. I mean, especially when you're not going to give a young kid a chance. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Jer Ben says his name is Mantis, Grumpy, about Chara, and Charizard, LOL, like the Pokemon.
Charizard. That's pretty good. The flames, right? Didn't you shoot flames?
Look at you, Grumpy. No one's somewhat of I wouldn't even call it a pop reference. I think that's it's an old.
Didn't Charizard shoot flames? He was yellow and orange and stuff.
He was orange, yeah, and he shot flames and he had wings. That's right, Grumpy.
I remember Pikachu was a little yellow fella. Pika!
The little yellow fella.
And he popped out of these little black and white balls with a red and white. I don't know what the hell. Who knows? Got to catch it all.
I want to listen more about you explaining a little bit about Pokemon to me because
they had a card game. They had a Pokemon card game. They had the little balls, which had the little characters in there. I think I don't remember. But it was a Japanese TV show cartoon, and it was huge over here for quite a while.
It still is huge. People play that Pokemon on their phones. They play Pokemon Go when they walk around, and they catch Pokemon in their games, and they battle people. They still play that.
What a racket!
Hey, you look at a game that's defined a decade, defined a generation. Pokemon has, that's for certain. Coach Tommy B said, Grumpy old man, do you have any rituals to get ready for your show? I'm actually interested. Do you have any rituals when you're getting ready, Grumpy? Because I know what you do to get ready for the show is very, very limited. You say, hey, where's my link? I click on it, I'm ready to go. But what type of exercises do you do to get ready for a 2 to 3 hour long podcast with me, Grumpy?
I make sure I pee before the show starts. That's my big prep.
Oh, geez.
So I don't have to get up in the middle of the show and relieve myself.
Oh, man. I set you up too easy.
I know.
Michael T said Charlie is Zdeno's middle name.
Okay. I didn't know that.
No idea. Fair enough. I'm learning things more and more. And then John P said, as long as the t-shirts aren't as bad as the new Bridgeport logo.
I can guarantee you the t-shirts will be better than the Bridgeport logo. That much I can guarantee you. I mean, a kid with a crayon, a 2-year-old with a crayon could do a better job than the Bridgeport logo. Aren't they trying to sell merchandise?
You'd think. You think that's the portion of a logo is not only to, you know, define an organization, but to sell, you know, to help you bring in revenue, but not for the Bridgeport Islanders. I'm sorry. I keep on calling them the Sound Tigers, but not for the Bridgeport Islanders. It's not. Robin Stewart said, I have a Tavares jersey. I use it as an oil rag.
Oh, Robin. You know, I haven't heard from Robin in a while, and he's a little feisty today, but I can tell he's part of the JT Butthurt Club.
Oh,
it didn't bother me at all. It wasn't his fault that the management was stupid here.
Yeah, I'm not even going to entertain it because they're going to send me off. Grump, going to send me off. You talk about those hot trigger items. Don't oversimplify something like that.
It wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault that Garth Snow was too dumb to just say, "Screw you. We're doing what's best for the team."
It was disingenuous that he knew the entire time he was going back to Toronto, and he told them he wanted to stay because he wanted to be the captain. He wanted to be an Islander for long term. That was disingenuous and a shitty move by him, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Don't oversimplify it.
That's okay. When John said that, he said, "Well, here's the contract. Sign it." And as soon as he says no, well, you know what? No problem. You're moved to whoever. That's what he should have done. Didn't do it. That's a total failure on Garth Snow's part. Total failure.
It was a failure on Garth Snow, but hey.
Here's the thing. I don't blame the player at all. The player, he served his time. He got to get to free agency. They should have moved him. They didn't. Period. It's on the team. Just like Steph Gilmore was bothering you today. Asset mismanagement. Whose fault is that? It's a team's It's a team's fault. They could have moved him last year. They chose not to. So they lost him for nothing. A 6th-round draft pick in 2023. Woohoo! Defensive Player of the Year 2019 goes for a 6th-round draft pick in 2023. Great move.
Completely different. You're comparing apples to oranges, and I'm not going to hit on it too long because we don't have the time, Grump. We got a lot of comments. Not apples to oranges. Frank K said, good Lord, Hendricks. Even SRV would have said so.
I was just not a big Jimi Hendrix fan. I just never was.
Alexander asking a question that's near and dear to my heart. Who is the best pancakes? My opinion, IHOP. For certain, it's
IHOP does make good pancakes. They do.
Pancakes, huh?
Pancakes.
Getting ready for Ponick? Mm-hmm. Richard Ponick. Hey, I love IHOP's
pancakes. They are good.
Some Waffle House.
Gotta have a lot of syrup on them, though. Need a lot of syrup.
Hey, man, Waffle House is fantastic with like the all-American breakfast, too.
Don't you have to have like a 2-pack-a-day habit to eat at Waffle House? It just looks like somewhere like if you can't, like a lot of places won't let you in unless you're vaccinated. I think you can't get into a Waffle House unless you smoke 3 packs a day.
Well, the other thing, too, is either you have to do that or you have to either promise to bring a fight to Waffle House or record a fight in Waffle House. So it's one of those 3 things you have to do in order to get accepted or in order to get, the illustrious ability to eat some Waffle House.
I have a Waffle House and an IHOP actually close to where I live, but I've never been in a Waffle House. It just looks dirty. I don't know. It just looks dirty.
Look at you, you snob. Look at you, snob, Grumpy.
It just doesn't look appealing. Looks like drive-through waffles or something is what they should say.
They're awesome. The waffles are fantastic. I love the food. They're open all the time. I love Waffle House.
Okay.
I love it. I love most eating establishments, though. Look at the size of me. One in a million says, come on, Stevie Ray Vaughan is better. Paige is the riff master.
Yeah, I thought Stevie Ray Vaughan was really good, and I love Jimmy Page.
Jared Ben said, who had a bigger, more intimidating forehead, Adam Pellick or the grumpy old man?
Peyton Manning. Here's the thing. TJ's forehead's bigger than mine. He looks like, you know what he looks like? He looks like Gazoo with a little hat from the Flintstones. That's what TJ looks like, man. That skull is getting bigger all the time.
Oh, look at
Why don't you pop up a little picture of Gazoo and tell me?
Make me pull up another freaking picture of Gazoo?
Right, and put it right next to your head because they're very, very similar. I mean, if you look at it, you're going to see, except you're not as green as he is. But man, oh man, very, very similar. Tell me that's not TJ. That's you right there.
You got a profile of me?
He's got more hair than you got.
He's got no hair, Grumpy. He's wearing a freaking helmet.
Yeah, it's still more than you got.
Oh, stop.
That's a big forehead, Gazoo. Whatever you say, dum dum.
Is that what he said? I honestly
Yeah,
couldn't
you say
tell you what part or what show this guy. You say he's on the Flintstones?
Yeah, Flintstones.
Hold on. The Flintstones are supposed to be a show about the people in the Stone Age family.
Correct.
What the hell is this alien doing on the Flintstones?
It's a kid's cartoon. What do you think they should do for you? Oh, I'm sorry. Because back then when they used brontosauruses to dig in the slate pit, they should. How come they had a space alien there? Probably because they didn't train dinosaurs to scoop out stuff, and you didn't run a car by going yabba dabba doo and pumping your feet at the bottom. It's a freaking kid's cartoon.
When I think aliens, I don't think of the Cretaceous. I don't think of the Stone Age.
Actually, the Flintstones was a prime time cartoon for adults when it came out.
Really?
Yes. It was on ABC. 8:00 at night. It was, for however many years it ran, 2-3 years, whatever it was. But yes, Gazoo was on that. Yes.
Fair enough, Grumpy.
You remember who Fred Flintstone's buddy was? Do you remember his name?
Well, Barney Rubble.
Barney Rubble. That's right. You remember the wives' names?
Betty and somebody else.
Oh, Betty and somebody else. Close. Somebody else was not the name. It was Wilma.
Betty and Wilma. That's
Somehow
right.
They had children. I don't know. But that's when Jack Capuano and Wilma got it going on. And they had Pebbles. And then Barney Rubble did it up with Betty. And they got Bam Bam.
Yeah, Jack.
He used to walk around there, just Bam Bam. I mean, I don't know how old the kid was, but he never learned English or any language. Just Bam Bam, Bam Bam. Hit people with the club.
Oh, goodness gracious. And then John P. said, Stevie, Texas Flood, live at Macambo. Listen and worship. Jimmy and Jimmy. Can't go wrong either. They're goats.
Yeah, I was always a Page guy. Just always was. Angus Young is great, too.
D-Cut saying, TJ's lost all positive comments about the Islanders. Misery rated R.
So typical.
Oh man. Jim B said, I don't think Bellows is an Islander by the end of this road trip.
I think he will be. They'll just keep him in limbo, and he'll never play. That's just what will happen.
What a film saying here. This is gonna be a tough start. 13 road games, considering they haven't been able to play a home preseason game.
I don't think it's going to be a problem. I really don't. I just don't.
Look at you, Grumpy. Not too worried at all. Look at that.
No, I think we play better on the road, honestly. We could play our dull, boring style, not have to worry too much about offense, just get a tie here, overtime win, whatever. Fine with that.
What a film said, love the shirt, Grump. Now I've got the song stuck in my head.
It's just, unfortunately, you got the players stuck in your mind. That's the worst thing.
Hey, Grump, who made that shirt, Grumpy?
Brett from Net Threads.
With a Z. That's right, Grumpy.
Net Threads with a Z.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Very appreciated.
And it very appreciate. You sound like Borat. Very nice. Very appreciate.
Very nice.
Michael,
appreciate.
What was that?
Much appreciate. Very nice.
Michael T said, Leonard also mentioned the Islanders and Lou Lamoriello, saying that Lamoriello would have never let anything like that occur on his team. Yeah, good. I'm glad. But I did find it. Now, did you hear when they asked? I think they asked Barry Trotz.
I've been on teams like that. I know. Remember, Leonard said, I've been on teams like that. Okay, well, he's only played for what? And he said Vegas wasn't one. Now he's saying the Islanders weren't one. So it's either Ottawa or Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: if you're in Buffalo, don't you think you really need drugs?
Who knows? He said that's what his worst was. He said when he was at Buffalo. Now I want to mention. Now, do you remember when Barry Trotz? They asked Barry Trotz to comment on it, and this was on. I think it was on Monday. Oh, Barry Trotz, you have any word to say on this? Oh no, I haven't seen. The mentioned tweets. Haven't seen it. I'm like, set up. I'm like, Barry, come on. I'm calling bull. Where's my bullshit button on that one? He just doesn't want to comment. Instead of saying no comment, he said, oh, I haven't seen it, and he's just going to let the media take it elsewhere, because for certain Barry Trotz was made immediately aware, I'm sure, of the comments that were made by Robin Leonard, and I'm sure It's all over Hockey News, but no, I haven't seen it. I can't comment on this.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I don't think the Islanders were to ever be an organization that would do anything like that. They don't strike me as something like that. So, I can always say, anything the Islanders do, I'm always very high on.
That was certainly a thing in baseball. Without a doubt, they were passing around bennies in the clubhouse. Everyone knew it was an open secret. They've stopped it. But, they had bowls of them. That's just the way it was. Day games after night games, need something for pick-me-up.
Paul O.C. said, TJ, if Palmieri's replacing Eberle, we did not improve up front because we already had Palmieri, and it's not an addition, so we never replaced Eberle. No, I'm not saying that Palmieri was an improvement. I'm saying the only way we could look at the forward group to improve, the only way it can improve, in my opinion, again, because I don't consider getting players back an improvement of your team, because that's like you guaranteeing and promising me that there's not going to be an injury to our forward group this next year, which I think is complete insanity. So the only way I think we could say our team improved, all things the same, is if Matt Barzal takes a step forward, Anthony Beauvillier takes a step forward and is more consistent, and Oliver Wahlstrom takes a step forward, and all your players that are over the age of 30, they're going to take a little bit of a step back, but it's not a huge step back to where the gains that you would see in those three players outweigh the losses you would see across the multiple players in their 30s.
But our system predicates that offensive players really don't get better, because their number one responsibility is making sure you play a solid defensive game. And if you want to just play offense all the time, you get punished. Number 13, you're going to get punished. Going to bench you.
One of the million says, Leonard constantly makes happy the Islanders let him go the way he shoots off his Leonard constantly makes me, maybe it means to say me happy the Islanders let him go the way he shoots off his mouth. I look at it like this. Here's the thing. He's very, very public in the social eye, and it's not just this. For a lot of different items, he's always going to be a fan favorite. He's always going to be a favorite of mine. He's always going to be a favorite of the Islanders, and he'll always love the Islanders too. You'll never see an Islander fan with, what he battled and went through here with us ever. Look at him in a negative light. That's for certain. Andrea also said, Subban and Chris Kreider dropped the mitts already.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. I don't think Subban did on purpose.
Yeah,
I don't consider him a cheap or dirty player.
I don't consider him a dirty player, but I think that was a dirty act on the ice.
Okay, but sometimes things happen on the ice. I don't think it was deliberate. That's all I'm saying.
Jared Ben said, Leonard is awesome, man. Hands down my favorite goalie in the league. And that guy's truly got some heart and soul. Love that dude. I was about to say, I love Robin Leonard. I always have a soft spot in my heart for him too. So I'm on the same page. Rodney L said, certainly glad the grumpy old man is not our coach or general manager. We would see toddlers running around the ice.
It's better having Clint Eastwood out there skating around. I'm sorry. The younger players, that's speed is what the game's about. You could get away with an old team like this. It's not really good skating in the 70s and the 80s, but you can't do it in today's NHL. The game's just played different. They've taken the physicality out of the game. They've taken the interference out of the game, which I don't think is a bad thing. But, I'm sorry. We need more high-end talent on this team. Players who can move.
Robin Stewart said, I don't think he understands how the farm system works, talking about the Grumpy Old Man. He would award lineup spots based on press clippings instead of merit. And
I draft better. That's what I would do. I draft better than the piece of garbage we've been drafting.
Hey, we had a good draft this year, with the exception this year has been a good draft.
Okay. The guys I thought they should draft instead of Simon Holmstrom, all producing. All producing. You know who's not producing? Casper Holmstrom. That's who's not producing.
Tommy B said, TJ, do you have any pre-show meal of preference? I do not eat a show before the meal, so I eat dinner around whenever the show ends. So I usually eat a late dinner, a late meal on Wednesday and Thursday evenings. That is for certain. And a late meal on Saturday and Sundays. That's for certain. Frank K said, TJ needs some killer New Haven pizza. Plenty of choices. Hey, man, I'll eat the hell out of a pizza pie. That's for certain. And then Rodney Lee said he likes fantasy points, nothing to do with winning. Grumpy. I'll let you respond to that.
There's a medium. I'm sorry. How many players on this team would you say could really be good players on other teams, stars?
You think he likes fantasy points because the thing that our team needs the most is more scoring. Our defense is fantastic, goaltending fantastic, excellent system for that. The item that we've always been missing is self-admittedly by the coach and general manager, offense. So in order to prove the team, we need to target guys who put up fantasy points, because that's going to be what helps elevate us to the next level. And again, this is all self-admitted by Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz 3 years ago.
Right.
So, and again, we've done a little items here and there to improve, but we still haven't gotten the big fish. Hey, you know, one of those the other items I'm going to be watching and keeping a close eye on is our boy Vladdy Tarasenko, to see how he comes off, to see if we played it too cheap regarding, you know, taking the big step, move forward in order to get the big fish.
I hope he lights it up too. Why? Because it proves my point once again.
Oh, looky there, Grumpy.
It's almost more important that I get proved correct.
It's more important that you get proved correct. Is that all? Is that
I
right?
think so. Yeah, I think so.
My goodness gracious, grumpy old man.
He just would have been perfect for us. He would have been perfect for us.
Alexander also saying, what about Comroff for Phil Kessel?
Why would Arizona take that deal?
Maybe this is an Eyes on Isles trade suggestion.
Maybe. No, that's fine.
I have no idea. That sounds about possible. What a film said, off your high chair, laughing his butt off there. And then Michael T said, I want to point out that a cactus up the butt can't feel anything but uncomfortable. There's no scenario where cactus up the butt is a happy and nice ending. I
agree. I just didn't know. You seem like you know a lot about cactuses and butts. That's all.
Or you know what, Grumpy, maybe he just could deduce that, and as most people can. That being said,
well, no, he took a shot about the cactus up the butt thing. I just wanted some clarification on the subject. That's all, because I don't know anything about it.
One in the million says, does anyone doubt that whenever Lou steps down or dies in office, that Trotz will want out immediately? I don't think he'll die in office. I hope not, at least. But, you know, if he steps down or when he steps down, do I think that Trotz wants to leave? I don't know.
It's going to be like putting Fredo in charge. That's what's going to happen. He's going to slide Fredo into the role. We're going to spiral into mediocrity, and Barry's going to want to leave. It won't be immediately. But I will say, when someone steps down, a lot of times a general manager wants to put his own coach in there. So it depends on which route if they go the Fredo route, Trotz has nothing to worry about. If they put in somebody else, maybe has some concern. You know, it depends on where the team goes in the next couple of years, right? I mean, if we fall off the cliff because all our guys get old at the same time, which they are going to, then it's like, okay, we can't rebuild. What are we going to do? Then you might see a change in direction. Who knows? That's still a couple of years away, though.
State of Survival said, hi, people, what's up? State of Survival. And then Michael T said, oh, ye grumpy of little faith.
I don't know. I just call him as I see him.
I like that. I like that, Grumpy Old Man. And then Tommy B said, Grumpy Old Man singing Sunshine Day to open the show would be a classic.
I think I'm going to do that.
I don't even know that song, Grumpy.
Oh, yeah, man. It was from the Brady Bunch.
I was hoping you were going to sing us a little bit now.
You know what? I don't want to butcher the lyrics, but I remember it. All the Bradys were singing on a TV show, and then Peter was going, you know, they were practicing that song. I don't even know if they got to sing that song on the stage, but then Peter's voice changed and he couldn't sing the certain parts anymore. So they came up with a new song, It's Time to Change. And they show people, it's time to change. And you see his voice would go up and down. Pretty bunch. Cute show from back in the day.
Jason C said, I'm going to see Bridgeport this year when they come to Charlotte on December 19th.
Maybe I'll see you there.
Oh, Grumpy. I know Grumpy lives in that area for certain.
Yeah. Sure.
Michael T said, if the Islanders can win the division and secure home ice for the playoffs, that could be it could be a very interesting scenario.
True. I just think Carolina is a team that, man, they kind of own us with their style of play gives us a lot of trouble. That's all. The young, fast, aggressive forechecking team, those type of teams give us trouble. We always struggle with them.
Matt I said, leave Picker alone. He just got married. Maybe Paul Mary?
No, he's talking about the guy who does the color commentating.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, it tells you how much I know the names and everything like that. I knew Corey Wright because he writes ideally enough, and I know he writes about the Islanders and the prospects. That was the only guy I knew. Fair enough. Oh, and then Tommy B said TJ can sing "It's Time to Change."
There you go. See, Tommy knows that. He's old. He's bald. He knows.
Michael T said, "Hey Grumpy, are you a Sopranos fan? Have you seen The Many Saints of Jersey?"
I did. Highly disappointed.
Alexander said, TJ Grump, are we going to see you guys do a play-by-play of an Islanders game?
Maybe.
I was about to say, and it was requested last year, so maybe this year we'll do that. And again, it will be a special for those who just listen to the YouTube, Facebook Live and Twitter.
I think it's going to be more like a Mystery Science 3000 thing. Kind of better that way.
Fair enough, Grump. Fair enough. And Frank Hay said, "Oh my freaking God, Grumpy would be screaming at Bailey all game."
It's true. I do scream at Josh Bailey just about every game. Just about every game. Even now, here's the thing. Yesterday, I saw him score a goal, and I said I saw him make that pass because we know he's not scoring a goal, even though somehow he put one in. But when he made that pass for Villiers, I remember I said, "Oh, that's a nice pass by Josh Bailey." So I do give him compliments too. It's just he sucks so bad on a regular basis that I can't help myself. And I do have a natural bias against him because he's a shitty player. And he's soft. He's Carvel soft.
Hey, you want to know the funny thing is, I saw a Carvel in the airport when I was leaving in Orlando. I saw a Carvel and I almost wanted to get some, but I'd already thrown on so much weight for my trip. I'm like, I cannot afford to be stuffing my face with a Fudgy the Whale or some ice cream, but I wanted to, so maybe next time I'll have to. Brett W, as well as Frank K, said they used to call Bob Backlund a howdy doody.
True. That was at the tail end. When he was first champion, he was a real white bread baby face when he won the belt from superstar Billy Graham. I met Bob Backlund. What a nice guy. What a really nice man. It's hard to see. He wouldn't make it. He actually came back later as Mr. Backlund, and he was talking about how people need to, learn how to read and literacy, and how the plebeians were stupid because they didn't know anything. It was great. It was great. It was a run that he had 10, 15 years after his last run. But like I said, what a fine gentleman, really nice gentleman.
Jim P said, when Chris King said, "Come on down to beautiful scenic Bridgeport" during yesterday's game, I almost threw up a little.
Come on down to beautiful scenic Bridgeport. This is Chris King on radio 95.8.
Matt Ian said, "Uwe Krupp, get it right, TJ." And then one of the million says, "Come on, TJ, learn how to pronounce Uwe Krupp's name." Grumpy old man will tell you he was a very good player for the Islanders.
He was very good defenseman for the Islanders.
And then Coach Tommy B said, "This is the NHL hockey. Some injuries will happen." That for certain.
This is NHL hockey. Some injury. Stop adding words. All right. It's not this is the NHL. It's this is NHL hockey. Some injuries will happen. Even Thomas Baffy knows that.
Tommy also said, yeah. He said, Thomas Baffy. Coach Thomas Baffy said.
He's not coach.
Oh, this is just Thomas Baffy.
Yeah, he's related
to Coach Tommy Baffy. Yes, but Thomas Baffy said, "I've told the Hosang story live on my show multiple times there." Coach Tommy Baffy corner. And he also says there, guys, this is going to be Chara's last season. He will not be back. It is a one and done, and Salah replaces him next year.
We'll see.
So does that mean, I guess, they expect Samuel Bolduc to step up and replace Andy Green next year too?
Don't know.
Long term, it's not bad, but I just would hopefully think that we want to keep those guys as fresh as possible for the playoffs.
I'm not even worried about next year yet. This year hasn't even started. But I guess we could say this year, next year, what's the difference? We're not winning a cup.
Rodney Lee says Hosang is all smoke and mirrors. The zero defense Leafs didn't even keep him up, or did not even keep him. They went to Toronto Marley, so they still kept him in the organization. And then Matt Ian said Hosang is a punk. Sorry, not sorry.
No, I have a soft spot for him.
Yeah, I do too. State of Survival said, "How happy did you feel when we got rid of Andrew Bad's contract?"
Very happy. That was really good. We just didn't turn it into anything, which was really a downer. But we had to get rid of him. I would have buried him on long-term injury. That's what I would have done.
Look at this. I like this Rodney Lee guy even more. Said Grumpy clueless about the JT scenario. Look at that. Oh, I like this Rodney guy even more. Coach Tom B said also, Godfather, my favorite movie of all time.
Greatest movie of all time. Greatest movie of all time. For now, a movie that's 2 hours and 54 minutes long, it never gets boring. Never. And Godfather Part 2, spectacular.
Michael T. Now Michael T. I don't know if I could take anything you say serious. And I said, "Oh my God, you guys think Zdeno's middle name is Charlie? Do you? Zdeno, Charlie, Chara? Come on, cut it out. I don't know. Maybe I don't know his middle name. I wasn't Wikipediaing his middle name, as you said. I just took it at face value. What can I say? I guess you pulled a huge Janus like you did. We did on Grumpy earlier. I don't know.
I guess me knowing players' middle names just isn't that important unless your name is Tom Brady, Edward Patrick Brady.
And then Jerben said, "Who would win at a battle of the death, Waffle House or IHOP?"
Waffle House, without a doubt. I mean, unless you're a truck, a multiple pack smoking truck driver. I mean, those guys are badass.
I was about to say they get a lot of. Hey,
I don't see families going to Waffle Houses. I do see them going to IHOP.
Jim P said Waffle House is dingy.
Dingy, dirty.
And then Jerben also said the illustrious ability to eat Waffle House. And Michael T said, once you've been in an IHOP, there's no need for Waffle House.
Yeah, IHOP's better.
Yeah, I tell you, you hear Ben also saying, hey, he likes some Waffle House. I do too. What can I say? John P also saying Waffle House is amazing. Hey, asking me, both. I like Waffle House and IHOP. Yeah, I'm not gonna, if you can give me the option to say, hey, TJ, we can go to Waffle House and IHOP tonight, I'd say, bet, we're going.
Now, here's the thing. Like I said, I've never been to a Waffle House. Okay.
Hold on. So you're shitting on Waffle House and you've never been to a Waffle House?
It looks too dirty for me to go in. I just look at the outside. I'm like, no, I'm going somewhere else.
We're taking your ass to a Waffle House.
Yeah. I just.
When you go to UBS Arena, that's the first stop we're eating. That's dinner. Okay. Waffle House.
I know at IHOP, if you want a hamburger or something and French fries, you can get that there. I don't know if you get that at Waffle House.
You can get that at Waffle House. I've had a hamburger at a Waffle House. It's pretty good too.
Okay. Well, I didn't know that.
Yep. Yes. Now you do. And the waffles are fantastic, man. Golden brown. Oh, you load those things up with syrup. Hey, waffles, just in general as a product, they absorb more syrup, so I could have more of a, my sweet tooth can come out a little more. Hey, love waffles, Grump.
Yeah, me, I'm a pancake guy.
Honestly, this is going to sound like maybe sacrilege for some breakfast junkies, but I like the Waffle House waffle better than I like a Belgian waffle. I like how it's honeycombed a little bit more. The Belgian waffle's big, thick, and all that. I'd rather have myself a Waffle House waffle than a Belgian waffle.
Why don't you just get Lego My Eggo waffles?
I love those too. Yeah, and I love them. Love all of it. There's not much I don't like. Frank K said Gazoo is the best, and Grump, I'm dying over here with the Gazoo reference.
Yeah, man.
Mad Eye,
the great
Gazoo. The great Gazoo.
Everybody knows the great Gazoo.
The great Gazoo. Oh, man.
That's good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Oh, hey, he's also saying Waffle House is beautiful and it's a sacred place. It should be cherished. Texas Roadhouse with the melt.
Texas Steakhouse.
Texas Steakhouse melt. Oh, the Texas Steakhouse melt. Oh, that's a type of. I was hoping you were talking about Texas Roadhouse. I can get myself some Texas. I'm getting hungry, baby. We gotta keep going. I'm getting hungry. Coach Tommy said, very good show tonight, gents. Islanders at Jersey tomorrow night.
I cannot wait to watch that. I just think that maybe there'll be starters from both teams maybe tomorrow, so we'll get a little bit better view of the team. Oh
God, John P also said the great Gazoo. Spell it right, TJ. When you said Gazoo, I thought it was Gazu. Gazoo. What can I say, Grumpy? Spell check has been a hell of a thing for me because I don't know where I'd be if they didn't have spell check on computers in today's day.
But
John Smith said, let's talk cap. There's about 2.25 left on Boychuk's long-term injury. We still have Parise, Dal Cole, Zdeno Chara, Schneider, and presumably Gustafson left. How to make it, or how will we make it happen?
Well, that's why they're finagling who they have on the opening night roster to make sure they get the max out of Johnny's LTIR.
Yeah.
And it's already done. It's already done. We just don't know the numbers, but everything's already done.
Hey, I was about to say they've already got all that worked out. I'm not too.
He's known what he's going to do all summer. It was just getting the numbers right. All these guys were signed at least a month and a half ago, all of them. So it was just getting the numbers right.
Tommy B saying my prediction: Islanders go 7-5-1 on a 13-game road.
I think that's acceptable, honestly. 7-5-1, that's acceptable. I think. Well, I don't want to. I hate to come off as being, so positive all the time, but I think we could even be better than that. Like 8.
Have you looked at who we played over that stretch?
No, I just think we're going to win.
Okay, I'm just go through the games.
Okay, good. This should be entertaining. Let's go through the games.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Loss. That's a loss.
Okay, well, I don't want you to tell me. I'm going to tell you it and say 7-5-1. Carolina Hurricanes, the Florida Panthers, the Chicago Blackhawks, the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Arizona Coyotes, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Nashville Predators, the Montreal Canadiens, the Winnipeg Jets, the Minnesota Wild, the New Jersey Devils, and the Tampa Bay Lightning, as well as one more time with the Florida Panthers.
Maybe 6-6-1. I don't know. It'll be fun. I will be interested to see how we match up against the Florida Panthers, how Tampa Bay looks after losing some players. It'll be interesting. Rangers, I think we'll beat the Rangers.
There's certain games I think there's no way we lose. Hey, but sometimes a lesser team can snag one earlier on in the year. But again, we're a team that historically comes out of the gates pretty well. And again, Barry Trotz coach teams and a veteran-laden team, you hope comes out of the gates with their minds right.
Yeah, I mean, and we always seem to play Vegas pretty well, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah. That's for certain that we do.
Whatever game Snyder plays, probably those are losses.
Mario said, it seems to me like Leonard has not been on his medication for at least a month. I've seen similar cases during my 2 decades of working in mental health field. Unfortunately, people who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder tend to stop taking their medication after being on them for some time because they're not experiencing symptoms, and they tend to believe that they're cured. They are fine for about a month, and then they start, and thus they feel they don't need them. Again, a bit of the comment was cut off. Again, I have no idea about any of that stuff. I don't work in that field at all. And
I just didn't understand the diatribe and the tweet after tweet. It just didn't make sense to me. I didn't know where he was going or why he was doing this or why he felt that this was the time to do it when he's not seeing that in Vegas. It was just strange. I didn't know.
You wouldn't have done it earlier, or wouldn't. I will say I was kind of confused about it on Twitter. I would have just been like, hey, I want to speak with the NHL. And then but here's the thing, who the heck knows? Like, I don't know. Like, if you're in a situation where if seriously something like that's happening, I don't know how the hell you'd handle it. I really don't.
Yeah, I just thought it was, I didn't know why he was doing it. It just didn't make any sense to me. If you're not living in that moment, I'm like, what is he doing? Why is he going back in the Wayback Machine talking about these? It just didn't make any sense to me. And, hopefully what Mario said is not the case because, I root for Robin Leonard, but I didn't know where he was going with this and why. It just didn't make any sense to me. Is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it will definitely be. It's going to be an interesting story as it continues to unfold. That is for certain. I hope I get this right. Eve.
You got it.
Grumpy. Eve, what's the last name?
You got it. It's Eve.
Eve Legin. Eve Legin. Eve Legin.
Eve L.
Eve L. What's Grumpy? Pronounce the last name for me so I don't butcher it in the future.
I don't know how he pronounces his name.
Eve. Eve here says, you guys had the best Islanders podcast. So long. Adios, Mike Carver and his Isle Seat podcast. What happened to Mike Carver? Thank you, by the way, Eve. But what happened to Mike Carver? Did he
I don't
change
know.
up or is he doing something different? So I wasn't sure. Andrew L said that sleuth foot wasn't on purpose. Subban turned his foot away to cover the puck along the boards.
Yeah, Subban's a lot of things, but dirty player is not one of them.
Fair enough. Jim P said likely Goloshev going back to Russia now that Wally is going to be taking his spot. The Bridgeport also just adding veteran Hartford right wing Paul Thompson.
Why? It's just, and what does it do for if let's say Wallstrom goes down to Bridgeport? What is as a young player? How do you feel about that? Do you think Leo Komarov is better than I am? That's what I'd be saying. Well, I mean, why don't best players play on this team? I'm going to tell you what, he's better than Zach Parise is right now. How much I can tell you.
Yeah, be criminal. Jason C said Grumpy sings and dance like Johnny Bravo.
Yeah. Johnny Bravo, man. Man, he used to have that. I mean, he was built, man, right? He had that perfect V with the blonde hair. Oh, Johnny Bravo.
Yeah.
Woo.
That show would be canceled today, that's for certain. Frank K said flying saucer from Carvel.
I love the vanilla malts or chocolate malts. Man, they were just so good. Put the little pumps of the stuff in there. Ooh, perfect. They knew how to do it right.
Chris King is hilarious. He's great. He really is. He did a depth analysis on every game in the 2021 or in-depth analysis on every game in the 2021 playoffs. And he shit all over Bailey in every review, laughing my ass off. Another turnover by Bailey.
It's the truth. Bailey gets so much love by so many Islander fans, and he's just a shitty player. I'm sorry. I think they saw him be miserable for it's a lot like the Islander team right now. They were seeing Josh Bailey be just garbage for so many years. When he just gets to a mediocre level, they think he's great. And that's the same thing with the Islanders team. We were so bad for so many years. Now we make the playoffs and we win a playoff round or two, and now we're the greatest thing ever. It's not true. It's just because you're used to watching a loser for so long that you think that any improvement is great. I want to win Stanley Cups. I want to get rid of Josh Bailey. Other than that, I'm fine.
He's got a few things that make him very happy. Mario said here, the good old days back in the late 80s, my friends and I used to go to MSG after high school and watch World Wrestling Federation. Tickets cost $5 back then. Lower bowl seats too.
And that was Monday nights, once a month on Monday nights.
Jared Ben also said used to be in jail there a few years ago, and I could only listen to the Islanders games through a little pocket radio, and got very familiar with Chris King for that time period. My sleeping schedule revolved around the Islanders game and what else was on radio at what time too. Laughing my ass off.
Yeah, man, good for you.
And then Mario said Cinema Paradiso. Paradiso, long version, is the best movie I've ever saw.
Story about a young boy who worked in an Italian cinema, and he grows away. I might mess it up. I don't know. It's been quite a while since I've seen it, but I thought that and it's subtitled, that he moved away and came back as an adult and tried to bring it back to its glory. I believe. Don't quote me on that. It was okay. I'm not a fan of. If I got to read the bottom, it's just difficult. But it was not a bad movie. That much I will say.
Jared Ben said, best quote of the night is, we're taking your ass to Waffle House. I was about to say, we need to. But I found out grumpy bad news, right? First off, Waffle House, you get hash browns, and they don't have French fries. Yeah, I was about to say, hash browns, you load up with ketchup. Oh, yeah. Grumpy, some ketchup on stuff. Michael T said, wait, there's no Waffle Houses in New York or Long Island, are there? No, there's not. I just found it out. And then Jim P saying, no Waffle Houses in New York.
I think there used to be years ago. I can't remember.
And then Frank K said the chicken and waffles. Never had the chicken and waffles. Maybe one.
I actually heard chicken waffles pretty good.
I like chicken and waffles usually, but I'm a guy who likes to segment when I eat. Michael T said the Great Gazoo made me think of Magilla Gorilla.
That's right. Hey, Mr. Peebles, how much is that gorilla in the window? Think about it. Okay, he lived in a pet store, Magilla Gorilla.
A gorilla lived in a pet store, huh?
A gorilla. He lived in the front window. And he'd get involved in some type of antics. and Mr. Peebles was the owner. You can look it up and bring up McGilla Gorilla. And he had the little girl, I think her name was OG. And think about it. He had free run of that. I guess he was a friendly gorilla, not the type you see like in zoos who go crazy when you throw him a banana or something. He was like really cool. He was literate. Just not the type of gorilla you usually see.
He's wearing a little top hat over here too. Look at this guy.
McGilla Gorilla for sale. How much is a gorilla for sale?
I see that little girl, and there's the owner.
OG, yeah, that's right. It's Mr. Peebles. There he is.
Mr. Peebles or Mr. Pebbles?
Peebles was his name.
Peebles. Gotcha.
Look at him. He was talented for a gorilla.
There's Mr. Peebles.
There he is. And OG was the girl, I believe.
Little OG. Fair enough, grumpy old man. Fair enough. I'm learning a lot about some retro cartoons.
I used to watch all of when I was a kid. They'd have those on Channel 11, WPIX in the afternoons. When I come home from school, we used to watch that.
Robin Stewart said, listen to Leonard on Spit and Chicklets podcast last week. I was about to say, I'll have to listen to it. I haven't listened to that. I'm willing to absorb any type of information about that because I'm very interested to see what's going on with it. I'm very interested in listening, that's for certain. Alexander also said steak and eggs at Waffle House.
That's a high cholesterol meal for you.
Alexander also said, Grumpy, TJ, over or under 30 goals for Barzal?
Under.
I'm going under too. I think he's improved, but not 30 goals. So I don't think, if we look back at his career, maybe there'll be 1 or 2 seasons with 30 goals. He's just not a guy I can see consistently scoring 30. John P. said, Mr. Softy over Carvel any day.
Mr. Softy was good. They used to have the Mr. Softy trucks. And they actually made good malts too. But, man, I love Carvel.
Yeah. Man, I say now, Carvel kicks the crap out of Mr. Softy. That's
the wrestlers have songs that come out, and I was thinking, Josh Bailey would have a song, the Mr. Softy song.
I know.
And they see Josh skate out there. I got the stick, kind of. I'm Josh Bailey.
Oh man. Scott Ellis said the ham and cheese in my Waffle House hash browns.
No.
Okay. Fair enough. Alexander said, how about the cartoon Tailspin?
That was okay. It was way past my time, but I remember seeing some of those.
And Brett W said, I love the
Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Hong Kong Phooey. Hong Kong Phooey. There's a super guy. Hong Kong Phooey. Quicker than human eye. Boom, chicky, boom, 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 chicky. Man, that was good stuff. He used to be, you know what? I know something? Okay. If Tommy Baffy was a cartoon character, it would definitely be Hong Kong Phooey because he was a janitor in a police station. Henry, the janitor. And he used to pump into a trash can and come out as Hong Kong Phooey. Look up Hong Kong Phooey. And here's the thing. I know he looks like a dog, okay? And he has more hair, but he looks kind of like Tommy Baffy.
I was about to say, Hong Kong Phooey's a dog. I thought he was a dog too, Grumpy Old Man, but I'm like,
he looks, if you pull it up, he looks just like Tommy Baffy. That's him right there. Well, yes, he's kind of bald on top, and he's a little bit slimmer, a lot slimmer. But, yeah, Hong Kong Phooey.
Oh, Hong Kong Phooey looks like he's one mean son of a gun. That's for certain.
I think Scatman Carruthers was the voice of that show.
What other characters were there on Hong Kong Phooey? Sergeant Flint and Telephone Operator. There's literally a character called
the girl. Rosemary. That's right, Rosemary. Yeah, I remember Rosemary.
Rosemary, and then
look at that short skirt on Rosemary.
Oof, look at that short skirt.
Yeah, she can pull it off. Think about it. That's cartoon for kids.
I was about to say that. I think they give her.
She looks like Britney Spears the way she's wearing that skirt.
Yeah, they don't look like there are too many characters.
And she loved Hong Kong Phooey. Think about that.
She loved the dog.
She loved she loved Hong Kong Phooey.
Fair enough. Maybe it was a respect for his craft. Who the heck knows, Grumpy Old Man? Okay. Michael Teal said, okay, who knows about the wacky racers on Saturday mornings?
I sure do. They used to have it was crazy. You ever get a chance to watch some of those retro cartoons? Are the best. And Dick Dastardly and Muttley would never win. Never. I think they actually did win one race in one episode, but they always trying to outsmart people and cheat them, and they always wound up losing at the end, and somebody else would win. Good stuff.
That's for certain.
The wacky racers, man, that was good stuff.
Matt I also said, good show. Appreciate
We
it.
used to live for Saturday morning cartoons. We couldn't wait till September started when the new Saturday morning cartoons were coming out. Oh, it was great. I don't know what they put on TV now for kids. Probably all educational garbage.
Oh, you don't like the educational stuff, Grumpy?
They get enough of that stuff in school, don't they?
John P said the
Peter-potamus. Yeah, he was a hippopotamus. He used to ride around in a big balloon. Peter-potamus.
What show? What was that about, Grumpy?
He just went on little adventures. Oh, they always went on little adventures. That's what it was about. Peter-potamus. Yeah, that's him. See, he's riding around in that little thing there.
Looks like a boat that's retrofitted as a
little monkey
hot air
pal.
balloon.
What was the monkey's name? I don't even remember his name.
So
monkey. There you go. I knew he was a monkey. Peter-potamus.
There it is.
Hanna-Barbera. Man. Blast from the past. Sometimes you forget these things, and bing, there they are.
Alexander also saying, the cartoons were great. Transformers, Beast Wars, and the Thundercats. I remember the Thundercats Assemble.
That was after my time.
Jared Ben said, do you guys ever listen to the Hockey Guy on YouTube? I've seen a clip or two of his. I like the Hockey Guy. He's a guy, I think he's really in depth with what he does. I like the Hockey Guy.
No.
You don't pay attention to him? I like him, Grumpy. Yeah,
I don't even listen to our podcast.
Oh man, that's true. Joe Francis also said Hippo Hurricane Howler.
Oh, that's what he used to. I remember he used to do some noise. That's what he did.
Oh man.
Good stuff.
And he also said, Jared Ben said, Grumpy, you ever read the book or watch the movie?
Yes.
Papillion.
Papillon.
Papillon. What can I say? Sorry.
It was with Steve. Steve, gosh, what the heck is that? Why can't I not remember his name? Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. And they were in, and it's true, actually based on a true story about in French Guiana, prisoner of war camp. Instead of you going to jail, they sent you to a work camp in like the middle of the jungle in French Guiana. And I just remember the scene where Steve McQueen starts, they lock him up in the hole for some reason, and they stick their heads out. They want something to eat or they shave them. They just stick their heads out of the thing and he shaves them. And some old guy sticks his head out at the beginning and says, hey, buddy, how do I look? And he looks at him like guy looks like he's 3/4 dead. And he goes, oh, you look great, Pop. Really good. He's like, oh, thanks. And then, the guy's dead like within a day or two. And then at the end, Steve McQueen, again, as an older prisoner, gets thrown in there and he says, hey, how do I look? He's like, oh, you look great, Pop. He's like, holy shit. And he's just pulling teeth out. They're feeding him grubs. I mean, just. And it was all about Steve McQueen's character, who was Papillon, escaping. And he eventually did.
Mario said, how can you discuss Hanna-Barbera and not Tom and Jerry?
Tom and Jerry, great. But
I
you couldn't show that now because
Tom and Jerry transcends time. I was about to say it's been around for always. It's been that one cartoon that will never go away.
I don't know if they even put a show like that on anymore because they even show
a different type of Tom and Jerry now.
Do they show cartoon violence anymore?
Not really.
Running over somebody with a steamroller or
you don't see like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner out there on those. You don't see like that type of like action.
Oh, it's too bad because that was what made it good. What do they do now? Walk up and shake hands, say see you later. Hey, thanks, Roadrunner. No, don't worry, I won't eat you. It's okay.
John
Bugs Bunny is too courageous cat and Minute Mouse. Doom 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 doom. And the frog, who played like Frederick Edward G. Robinson. He used to have the same voice, like courageous cat, courageous. And the Minute Mouse would go, courageous, like a little squeaky voice,
like a little Mickey Mouse or something like
Felix the cat was another one. Yeah, that's him right there, the frog. Yeah, see, yeah. There's the courageous Catmobile. And Minute Mouse was the driver, which I was surprised.
I was about to say, looky there, grumpy old man. Oh.
What they don't show is when Minute Mouse got out of line, man, Courageous just bit the shit out of him.
Oh man, oh man. Brett W, have you seen the He-Man reboot? So bad. No, I haven't watched that.
I've not.
Oh goodness gracious. Yeah, absolutely, Grumpy. Got a few ones. Yeah, they came out with the Tom and Jerry movie recently. I heard it was bad. Ugh, yikes.
They probably took all the fun out of it. They made it politically correct and ruined it, probably.
And Brett W also says here, Grumpy, I know you remember the Banana Split show.
Yeah.
Land of the Lost.
Yeah, Land of the Lost with the Slee Stacks.
And Captain Caveman and Speedy
Captain Caveman. Yeah, Speedy Gonzalez. He was a Mexican mouse. He said, yes, I'm Speedy Gonzalez. You know, he talked like that. So you couldn't make that cartoon either today. You know, but he'd have the big sombrero. There he is right there, Speedy Gonzalez. He was super fast.
Was he played by George Lopez?
I don't believe so.
Well, fair enough. Warner Brothers, yeah,
Yep.
look at all that. And then Joe Francis also said Gumby and Pokey and Davy and Goliath.
Davy. Goliath was Davy's dog. That was like I want to say it was like a Christian show. It was only on Sunday mornings, and Gumby and Pokey, you know, Gumby and Pokey, yes, Davy and Goliath. And you go, Davy. And it was that same claymation type stuff. It was good. We used to watch that on Sundays, my sister and I. We'd watch that early morning Sundays because when you're a kid, you're up, you know, at the crack of dawn to watch any type of cartoon.
John P. also said Lidsville.
I don't remember Lidsville.
Michael T. said Grape Ape.
The Grape Ape, yeah.
And then the Gargoyles.
Man, I haven't talked about cartoons in a long time. Gargoyles a little bit after my time. Alexander's a little bit younger than I am. So.
And Pinky the Brain. I remember some Pinky and the Brain. John P. also said it was a Lutheran show, Davy and Goliath.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it.
Animaniacs. Yeah, look at that. Gotta mention we do. Yeah, I was about to say, look at all these old shows. Makes me want to get to watching some cartoons as I eat some dinner tonight.
It sure does. Sure does, man. Cartoons were great back then. Like I said, they're garbage today, I'm certain. I don't even have to know. I'm just going to tell you. If we're looking at the entertainment that's put out today, I'm sure they suck too.
Oh, man. Well, Grumpy, we're at the end of the podcast today. What else you want to add in today's podcast? I know at the end we kind of talking a little bit about cartoons. What else you have for the rest of the day, Grumpy?
I just want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man. And please listen to our TJ and the Grumpy Old Man podcast tomorrow at 9:00 ish. Where I'm sure we're going to talk about my pal Tom Brady, and we'll talk about Urban Meyer and his little antics, as well as Evander Kane falsifying his vaccination.
That's right. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, we'll talk about that tomorrow. And we'll talk about the Women's National Soccer League, which is trying to sabotage. You know, it's a friends and family league to begin with, and they think, you know, just walking off or something is going to improve their visibility. I don't know, but we'll talk about all that stuff tomorrow.
For certain we will. And again, thank you so much, Grumpy Old Man. Thank you, everybody who tuned in and listened to tonight's podcast. Again, we really do appreciate that in live stream. The best way to show your support for myself and Grumpy Old Man, few items. Subscribing on YouTube so you don't miss out on any of the action. Liking on Facebook and following on Twitter. And again, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, we do go live tomorrow, and the link to that is in the description below on the TJ and the Grumpy Old Man show. That's for certain. It's going to be an action-packed, fun-filled. We got a few comments too, Grump, before we wrap things up. Michael T said, what about the Great Space Coaster?
Yeah, a little bit after my time, not in my wheelhouse. I do remember Knight Rider. Yeah, it was with David Hasselhoff. And I look at Wonderama. That was with Bob McAllister. Was the whole Romper Room. That was for really younger kids, but Wonderama was pretty cool. And Rocky and Bullwinkle. That's Moose and Squirrel. Boris and Natasha used to say, the Moose and Squirrel, they were from, I forget the town. I forget this. It was supposed to be Russia. Probably where Komarov was from, something like that. And he said, yeah, let's get rid of Moose and Squirrel. It was Bullwinkle.
I see that one lady who's got like the juice or something, or maybe it's a guy who's got like the syringe and he's squirting the juice out. I don't know what it is, but I do remember a picture or an image of that ingrained into my forehead.
I don't know. It was Boris and Natasha going after Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Brett W said Magic Garden 2, as well as Yogi Bear.
Yogi Yabba Dabba Doo.
Michael B saying, you guys are great. I love the team and the fans that support it. Thank you, Michael. We do appreciate that. Thank you, Grump. Thanks everybody who commented in. And thank you again, Grumpy Old Man. A sincere thank you, Grumpy, for
My
always
pleasure.
being on the podcast and always being here. I know it's a lot, Grumpy, and I ask a lot of you, but I do appreciate it, Grumpy. Thank you.
My pleasure.